Hello once again, everyone. So last time, I think it was 13 or 14 days ago, I streamed the Resident Evil remake on PC, and we got a good bit into it. But while it was a stream just ridden with issues, all kinds. Like the stream was kind of bugging out, and I was constantly messing up and everything. So in that sense, it wasn't successful at all. But at least I enjoyed myself. Like in the end, I think somehow I had some of the most fun I've had with that game ever, despite the fact that everything went wrong. But one thing that is just completely inexcusable is how the stream turned out in the end. On my end, it was completely fine. The game wasn't lagging or anything, like at all, at any point, apart from those times where the game just decided to freeze up completely and load the assets for the next camera angle, which happened a lot, and it was annoying. But apart from that, it worked just fine on my end. But since I was dumb and I didn't actually check that the stream is functional on your end while I was streaming, what ended up happening is that after having streamed for like, what was it, like 2.5 hours or so, I noticed playing the stream back after the fact that it was a complete shit show. It was like, I mean, I don't know how to describe it really. It was a slideshow. Like it was running at, I don't know, maybe like 5 FPS or something. I don't know exactly what the ballpark of frames is, to be exact. But anyway, it was terrible to watch. It's actually my most viewed stream so far, so in that sense, that's all well and good. But I really didn't want it to be the one stream that doesn't work properly, because that doesn't set a good precedent for things to come. But I've wisened up since then, and now I have the Twitch window right there next to the OBS recording, and I can see in near real time if things are going wrong. So first of all, let me test my voice. Let me test, you can hear me. I apologize for the kind of echoey effect or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we already did plenty of that last time. We don't need to do a repeat of that. So yeah, it seems like you can hear me just fine, so that's great. But now, as you can see, there is no game signal coming in, so let me just go and turn on the game so you can actually see what we're going to be playing today, because we will not be playing Resident Evil Remake. I don't know, I didn't really feel like it right now. Especially because of how hard it was to get working, and I'm still not sure if I've fixed any of the issues. I did fiddle around in the settings trying to get this to function. Like, I assume it worked as bad as it did, maybe partially because of the hard drive I was using and all the issues that brought up, but also because I was streaming at too high a bit rate with the resolution set too high and the FPS set too high as well, because I just assumed, because I have good internet and a stable connection, that I would be able to run that just fine. But it looks like that wasn't the best idea. And really, when you think about it, does the stream absolutely need to be 1080p 60 FPS at 6000 what is it megabits, 6000 megabits of bitrate? I don't think so. I really don't. So now it's 720 30 FPS, and the bitrate has been lowered to 4000. So hopefully that will fix things, but we will not be finding that out today, because I'm not gonna play a PC game. Instead, we will be playing on the original PlayStation. But now, after all this preamble, which I guess is customary at this point, considering that, you know, I do it every single time. And it takes up like the first 15 minutes of each of like my streams. But regardless of that, let me just go and boot up the game so you can see what we're playing. This is going to be quite the deviation from what we've played thus far, but I hope you'll like it. And as usual, we're going to be playing on, you know, original hardware, no emulation or anything. Whenever I can play on original hardware, I will. Seems like the video is coming through on your end just fine. Hold on. Now that's weird. Typically for me, on my TV, the game footage looks pretty bad in terms of quality, and for you it looks a lot better. Like for you it looks like it's supposed to, but now I'm seeing like a opposite effect. Oh no, actually no, it has reverted back to the way it's supposed to be.
Right, left, right, left, right, squad, halt.
Anybody recognize what this game is?
Never have I seen such a shower in all my life. You recruits are here for one reason.
Watch the
only,
cutscene
and that
first.
reason is war. I said war. Are you in love, Private? Then don't look at me or give me nightmares. Lights. Australasia, a collection of islands in the South Pacific. Reconnaissance has shown that these islands are rich in swill. Shut up! Swill is the lifeblood of pigs. Control the swill and you control the world. And that means war. What does it mean? War, Sergeant! Precisely. And as soldiers, our job is to fight. Destroy. With guns and bombs and knives and with your bare hands. But before that avenue of pleasure, a series of training films to prepare you for every eventuality in the theater of warfare. Roll it!
Armies on the march. Something. I can't remember what.
Armies on the march. The world divided. The threat of attack from the land, the sea, and the air. No Sunday roast this week. While the soldiers are in the thick of it, back home there's plenty of work to go around. Like making high explosive bombs. Anti-tank bombs. And making
Other bombs.
So let's make the most of it. That's the ticket. And remember, lads, a war is won at home and not just on the battlefield. There is no excuse for malingering. With any luck, it should all have blown over by Christmas.
So there's the introduction. That's all we're gonna need. Hogs of War on the original PlayStation is what we're going to be playing today. Or I think it is very, very apt to say tonight, because once again, it's 3 a.m. for me. It just seems I can't escape this nighttime streaming. I was going to get into this later with how the game disc I have, you know, it's really old, it's seen a lot of wear and tear, and as a result, it is one of the most scratched up yet still functional games I own. So sometimes the disc won't read properly, and this, of course, this exact moment where I decided to stream the game is the time that it decided not to work. So let me go boot it up again, and luckily we can skip the opening cutscene so we don't have to watch that all over again, but I'll be right back. Nothing ever goes right in these streams of mine. One of these days that game is bound to just stop working altogether. But I really hope that doesn't come too soon, because I love this game. So this is one of those games where I really don't think it's going to get much of an audience. It's kind of random to just play a 2000 PS1 game, a little no one at that. And one that got pretty mediocre reviews when it came out in 2020. But even if nobody tunes in, I'm just glad to play the game, and especially glad to archive everything I have to say about the game and all that jazz. But speaking of archives, well, I think I should get back to this once I'm done with the, all the introductions to the game and everything. Now, it seems to work. Okay, first of all, gotta do this every single time because the game doesn't remember that you've done this. There's no way to save your settings. So we need to do this to make the game how do I want to put it? To like show all there is to see, the full game screen, because it's always a little off. But anyway, we are going to be playing the single player campaign, and because when I started this I had no idea I would actually end up streaming it at some point, we will be continuing from my hard mode playthrough from the mission 10, I think. But I hope that's okay. I think, I would love to stream this game in its entirety, but because I felt like playing it right now and I felt like streaming it, I'd much rather stream it from where I left off when I played yesterday, instead of starting all over. So as you can see from my save file, if you know this game at all, this is not your average normal mode playthrough. I've actually finished the game once with this team. If there's a way to complete this game 100%, or the normal mode 100%, then I've done it with this save file, and then that allowed me to unlock this special team, Marty Pigs, that you can use, where you get to experience the exclusive hard mode. So like I remembered, we're in mission 10 right now. So I'm assuming most of you won't be familiar with this. Oh, that's great. That is just great. So this is one of those games that changes resolution when it goes into the menus. That is awesome. I just love that. That works really well for streaming purposes. Oh god, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Hopefully you won't, it's not gonna do that during the base gameplay. Only when I go into the menus, so hopefully that won't be too bad. It's mostly like maybe cutscenes that I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, Hogs of War is a 3D strategy game. It is very similar to how the Worms games operate, with the exception that it's in 3D. And yes, there are 3D Worms games, Worms 3D and Worms 4 Mayhem, or Worms Ultimate Mayhem on PC, to be specific. But I think those games are fine. They're actually pretty good, but I think this is the way I would want a true 3D Worms game to function. And because I still really like the 3D Worms games, the actual ones, probably more so than any of the 2D games, I think since this is like the true, how should I put it? If the actual Worms 3D games are like proofs of concept that show glimpses of what a proper, well-made 3D Worms game could be, then this is the true realization of that concept, which makes it, in my eyes, perhaps the best strategy game, like a classic turn-based strategy game ever made. So even though this got mediocre reviews when it came out, I love it to pieces. It's so good. It might be the nostalgia talking, in part, because this is one of my earliest gaming memories as a kid, and it's stayed with me all my life to this very day. I play it quite frequently. There was a point where I mostly played it because the multiplayer mode is actually really fun, and I played that with friends, you know, on the couch. But then I, at some point, absolutely fell in love with the single player mode as well, and I've been playing that pretty obsessively, like in the last, I don't know, 6 months. So anyway, enough of that. How does the game actually work? So you get to, at least like after you get through the initial few missions, you get access to 5 pigs on your team, all of which you have full control over, and all of which you play as in the matches one at a time, with like enemy turns taking place between each of your turns. And one thing that I really, really like about this game that Worms, like none of the Worms games have, as far as I'm aware, is this kind of class system, or I guess it's called a rank system in this game. But anyway, what it does is it allows you to collect promotion points, or PP. Whether it's big or small, I don't know, but anyway, you can collect PP from doing particularly well in missions. There are some optional like side quest things you can do in missions, and then if all of your pigs survive the match, you get an extra PP, and if you just complete a mission, you get one as well. So with those points that you earn, you can rank up your pigs, all of which start at the grunt level. And there are, how many steps are there throughout a single soldier's career path? There's the grunt level, then you choose their specialty. After that, that's level 1, then there's level 2 and 3 for that specialty. Then they transform into this like, how should I put it? Like, at first they're all grunts. They're exactly the same in terms of their capabilities, their health level, and their weapons and everything. Then you choose one of 4 career paths. There's engineer, which specializes in close range combat and explosives. And then there's the scout, which specializes in like reconnaissance and long ranged combat. Then there's the heavy weapons expert, who also excels in long range combat with some really devastating weaponry, but ones that are much harder to use than what the scout has. And then there is the orderly, which has the capability to heal other teammates. Their offensive capabilities aren't that great, but they make up for that in spades with how they are able to keep their teammates alive. So when you choose one of those, that's your level 1. Then you level up to level 2, and then finally 3, and that's the end of that specific career path. Then the next upgrade after that, they all converge at a single point. So once you reach level 3 in any of the career paths, and then you upgrade it once more to the next level, they all become the same class once again, or same rank. And then there's one step after that, which is like the ultimate trooper. And the ultimate goal in the game is to get all of those, like 5 of those in your team. But the only way you can get that is if you play perfectly, in the sense that you, well, of course you complete every mission, that's guaranteed, like you gotta do that. But you can't lose any of your pigs in any of the matches, or else you cannot get fully ranked up pigs, like a full team of them, at the end of the game. And then you also need to do all of the optional objectives throughout the missions. There aren't always optional objectives, but when there are, you need to do them. So currently I have 2 engineers. This one's a level 2 engineer. This one's a level 3 engineer. I'm sure there are like actual military terms for what these ranks mean, but I don't know them, so I just refer to them as engineer level 2 or just engineer. Like it says it right there down in the middle in the black screen. That's this pig called Pigquid is an engineer, and even though I said that engineer is the name of the rank, I don't remember if that's actually the case. I think it is, but it might not be. But the whole point of this naming scheme is that there's a sapper, which is level 1, then there's the engineer, which is level 2, and then the saboteur, which is level 3. So there's different names for all of them, so you always know which one it is just by looking at the name or the rank. So I've got one engineer, one sniper, one saboteur, one medic, and one bombardier. And these two, the engineer and the saboteur, like you can see from the icon beneath the name on the left hand side, they are both on the same career path but at different stages. This is the engineer class, this is the scout class, this is the orderly class, and this is the heavy weapons class. My personal favorite has to be the saboteur, like probably out of all of the classes in the game. The saboteur has to be my favorite, and I'll explain why once we get into the game, but for now, let me just promote this guy with 3 PP, which leaves me with another 3 to use later. Now I got myself a saboteur, another one, and now we can go into the mission. Bangers and mash. I'm sorry for all that prefacing, but like I said, we have to do this every time. It's like a tradition at this point almost. And now that I've properly explained the game, because I just feel like most people aren't familiar with this game, I think it was good to go over the basics. Now that we've got that boring stuff out of the way, we can get into the game proper. So I guess I'll read this for you. War Office, bangers and mash. The guns in this canyon have been causing havoc throughout Australia. If you can silence them, the entire island will belong to us. Very, very top secret, Major I.P. Grimley. Make yourself inconspicuous. A close assault offers promotion. Now that bottom picture there is a hint as to the nature of the optional objective that I mentioned that you can do in this mission. What it entails in detail we will get into shortly, but for now let's just get into it. But like, keep in mind that that is a hint. The game doesn't directly tell you what you need to do, like almost never, but there are like these subtle and sometimes not so subtle hints towards what you can do to achieve extra PP throughout the matches. But yeah, let's get into it. And the upper picture, it's just like, well, I'll explain later what it does. Okay, mission 10, bangers and mash. Now, in the single player mode, you always get to start and the enemy comes second. Now, I think what I want to do is get to the enemy on top of this castle that they have as quickly as possible, because they are armed with these big artillery turrets. And they can be very devastating even at long range. So I want to get as close to them as possible so they'll have difficulties aiming at me. Now, I have only 45 seconds to get there, which isn't a lot, but I'll get as far as I can. This is a mash tent, and what it does is it allows me to jump inside there, and if I can stay there until the pig I jumped in with has another turn, then they get their health restored up to max. If you're already at max when you go in there, there is no effect. But the mash tents come with very little HP, and the enemies usually try to destroy it as quickly as possible if you get in there. Ooh, I slipped. Well, that's okay. Anyway, the enemies usually try to prioritize destroying the mash tent, like right now. The game is a dick to me, apparently, and it has placed one of my troopers inside the mash tent, which I didn't want because, you know, at this point it's of no use to me. But now that they destroyed it, there's no way to get it back, and now I no longer have access to it, and I'm not sure if there's any way to avoid it because they always shoot it first from my experience. So I guess there's nothing I can do but to hope that I don't need to use it later. So the way I slipped off of the little cliff I was on just now is because you know how there's like a lot of gray area on those cliff sides. All that gray area, which it isn't always gray. It depends on the type of environment you're in, but in this level it's gray, and oftentimes it is gray. And it's easily identifiable because if you step foot on it, or set foot on it, oof, you slip off.
Yes?
So this water right there, I think it's... No, I was about to say it's poisonous, because there is poisonous water in the game, but I actually remembered just now that you can look at the map and see which bodies of water are actually poisonous. And the one I just walked past isn't, actually, because it would be green on the map if it was. Ooh, 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 ooh. That checkerboard pattern you just saw meant that there is a mine there, and the reason I was able to see it even though it's concealed is because I'm playing as an engineer, because like I said, the engineer is a explosive expert, which means that they are the only class who are able to see mines concealed in the ground. But
Oh, yeah.
that almost didn't stop me from, you know, walking into that trap set by the enemy. So since I took some damage from that initial strike at the mash tent, I'm gonna get that HP box. Usually, if you don't absolutely need to get HP, I would suggest not taking it, because the enemy very rarely does. They hardly ever prioritize taking boxes, especially in single player mode. Or I guess I should say particularly in single player mode, because in the multiplayer mode they actually do get the boxes quite aggressively. But yeah. I'm not sure what this is about, but my throat hurts a little. I went
Oh, please excuse
to the store today to grab some groceries, so I'm
Yeah, boss?
hoping I didn't catch the coronavirus on my way there. That would suck. I've read that the incubation period for the virus can last for a while, so even if you're infected, you might not see the actual effects of or you might not actually get any symptoms. Shit, where's the mine? Okay. You might not actually get any symptoms until like 2 weeks after you first got infected. So I'm not sure if that's what this is, but I just noticed that after that trip, I've had a sore throat. Let's hope it's nothing major. So now that I've been explaining everything, I haven't really been able to concentrate on the game, and this hard mode is seriously tough, so I probably need to redo this quite a few times.
Welcome to my world.
But that's okay, because an integral part of this game, especially in hard mode, is to
Oh, come with me.
do your best to like iron out all the kinks in your strategy and then finally execute it in this... Ooh, I'm going in the wrong direction. And then execute it finally in this as flawless as possible string of strategic moves. Yesterday I actually was just completely dominating the enemy, but what ended up happening is the very same thing that happened when I started the stream and I booted up the game for the first time. It froze, and when it freezes, there's no way to get it back. It's like game over for you. So I had to reboot the console, and I lost all my progress in this mission, so that's great. I really get the feeling that this is not gonna go well. Now, this sniper is easily exploitable in the sense that if nobody is in his direct line of sight, then he's really of no harm. He really doesn't have many other weapons beyond the sniper rifle, which forces you to have a direct line of fire, as opposed to firing over cliffs and whatnot with like bazookas and grenades and whatnot. So now that my saboteur actually got killed because of my sloppy play, I'm going to abort the mission and retry. Now, of course, when we go into the menu, it's going to change resolutions and you're going to lose the picture for just a second, I assume. Huh. Okay, so this time you didn't. That's interesting. Anyway, let's get back into the game. I find that the longer you play the game for, the more likely it becomes that the game will eventually freeze, so it's very important to save the game after each match. And sometimes, if you take too long trying to beat a single mission, it might actually be worth it to reboot the game entirely, just to try to avoid that occurrence where it just freezes in the middle of a match. So far, it's never frozen while I've been saving, luckily, because I've had that with some games like Jack X Combat Racing, for example. It's ruined 2 of my PS2 memory cards completely, just rendered them utterly useless because it corrupted all of the data on the memory cards irreparably when the game froze while it was saving.
Waste of young pigs.
Oh, it happened 2 times with Jack X, in case you're not familiar with the subject, is because all but one release of Jack X, excluding the PS4 port, you know, like out of all of the PS2 versions of the game, the originals, only one is free of this glitch where the game locks up while it's saving and it never finishes, so you just have to either turn off the console or pull out the memory card, and there is a high chance that you'll at least corrupt your save data, if not the entire memory card. And for me, it just so happened that both memory cards were corrupted and I lost them forever. All of the data on them and their usability as well. You can't save on them anymore at all. So I just hope it never happens with this game. So far, it hasn't. It's always frozen either in the loading screens or during missions.
Easy does it.
Which isn't fun. But it's 93? Jesus. Like, I don't know what happened between yesterday and today, but last night when I was playing, they were completely incompetent, basically. I was completely dominating them. But now, it seems like they're super deadly. Like, they hit me with every attack and they deal massive damage. It really doesn't seem like I'm gonna be in for a good time with this one. So, you know, the initial few turns of this particular mission just involve you kind of running around, trying to make it up to the tower where most of the enemies reside. Since the sniper is pretty harmless for most of the match, I don't really like to worry about him too much until the very end. I think it's much more important to get rid of the artillery towers because they, like you just saw, they can deal a lot of damage. So that's the poison gas grenade, which if it hits, deals 15 damage and poisons that character, like so, in a way that every time it's their turn, they take, I think it's 10 damage. What am I doing? So that's not good. I should definitely get that fixed. So now, playing as the orderly, or the medic now, since he's been upgraded, I really have two major options here. Number one, I can go back to I think it was the bombardier back at the starting point who got poisoned, so I could heal him, because healing a character removes the poison status. Or I could just heal this guy because, you know, he took a lot of damage from that artillery shot earlier. I'm gonna use this healing hands item twice. I'll get away from him so we don't both get struck if the enemy decides to shoot there. So the healing hands ability allows me to return 20 HP to any one of my pigs apart from the medic himself. And you can use it as many times as you want.
I'm sorry.
Throughout your turns, assuming of course that you still have them. You start with 3, and you can technically get more, even though it is very, very unlikely. I will explain how exactly you can get them at a later point. But for now, let's just assume that there's no way to get more, and you start with 3. So I just used 2, and now I have 1 more. This mortar weapon that I have, it's very powerful, potentially, but it can go terribly wrong as well. It's kind of hard to use because instead of aiming directly at the enemy, you kind of have to hire this hanging shot that goes high up into the air and then rockets down at the enemy. I think that should be about right. Let's hope for the best. This is one of the hardest weapons in the game to use. Okay, I completely messed it up. Great. Even the clusters weren't able to hit the enemy. That's awesome. I do have 3 of those, and they can deal pretty massive damage, like 70 easily if you hit well. But like I said, it's hard to use, so that's not good.
Oh man, I'm just winded.
How come they're so good this time? Last time they couldn't hit half their shots. God damn. Ugh. This isn't good. Like, even if I don't manage to beat a single mission throughout this stream, I'm just glad to be playing the game because I really enjoy it. Sure, it gets annoying when you play the same mission like 10 times and you don't make any progress, but I still enjoy myself greatly. I really, really love this game. Like, honestly, I don't understand why this game got such mixed reviews when it came out. Like, from what I've seen, it got 5s, 6s, and 7s across the board, which, you know, it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still way below what I would rate this game. I think personally this is like a 9 out of 10. It's, for me, much better than any of the Worms games, and yet the Worms games, most of them anyway, are rated much higher than this game. Now, of course, there are things to consider when comparing these to the Worms game, or this game to the Worms games, such as the fact that this game has tank controls. Now, I love tank controls. As a classic Resi vet, one of my favorite ways to, or one of my favorite control types for a game is specifically tank controls. So I don't mind that at all. I think it actually adds to the game, and it, like, adds to the difficulty of it, which is great. He's in the box. Okay. Right. So, because he's hiding in the box absorbs some of the damage inflicted by the sniper rifle. Normally it deals 40 damage, but then 20% of it, or no, not 20%, but 20 points of that damage is absorbed by the box. So he only took 20 damage, but that's still better than nothing.
I'll grease those pinheads for you, sir.
Now I said earlier that I don't like to worry about him too early on. Like 96, what the fuck? Come on.
Ah, yeah.
How am I supposed to win with when they hit me like that? Come on. One interesting thing about this game as opposed to the Worms games is that unlike in Worms, you can actually swim in this game, technically. Because, you know, in all the Worms games, if you so much as touch water, you instantly drown. There's no ifs about it. It's simply a case of either you drown or you don't. In this game, you can go swimming whenever you like, but under normal circumstances, let's call them, you can't swim forever. You keep losing HP rapidly as you swim. The swimming drains your HP constantly. So I'd say even at max health, you know, the max base health, you can go above it by collecting health crates. But like,
Little papa dog now.
with your starting health at the beginning of a match, even then,
Oh, yeah.
with a level of HP as high as that, I think at best you're gonna be swimming for maybe 5 seconds before you drown, maybe a little more than that, but like it's very short. But if you use that ability strategically, it can be of great help. Oftentimes there are even cases in various maps where there is no other choice but to subject your pigs to a bit of swimming, because the maps are designed in a way where swimming is not quite encouraged, but sometimes mandatory. Of course, the game doesn't tell you how you need to play the game, or how you need to play it.
Did I mention that I'm a
You
pacifist?
decide it for yourself. Great. They are on a kill streak today, which doesn't bode too well for this stream, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I find it seems to be random how good they actually are.
Okay, let's
There are times, like yesterday when I was playing this very same mission, where they were completely incompetent, like I said before, but now it seems like they hit every single time, and it doesn't take even a full round of each of my pig's turns for them to get wiped out completely. So I need to figure something out. It seems as though it's just hanging around somewhere in the... Oh, no. Crap. It doesn't seem like hanging somewhere down by the path that leads up into the tower is a good idea, so let me just hide here, I guess. The reason I hid behind the tree isn't because I want to
War is a filthy
hide from the
business.
artilleries, but it's because the sniper can see me if I don't hide
think
behind
I
it.
should be here.
And since most often the sniper has nothing to do, so they'll just end up wasting their turn, or like, you know, skipping or whatever. If they see an avenue that they can exploit because of my sloppy play, they will certainly take advantage of that whenever they can. So, rats. I feel like I was in the middle of saying something and then I got distracted by something and then I forgot what I was meant to say, but anyway. I will use the hide ability, which puts me inside a box, just like the enemy, but as opposed to how the hide ability works with the enemy, in that I can always see where they are as long as I remember where they use the ability, because I can't see them on the map anymore.
Ah, yes?
Or actually, because the hide ability is only available under normal conditions. For the scout class, and the scout class is one that can never be seen under any circumstances on the map. It doesn't matter if they're hidden or not. But technically, if you were able to get the hide ability with your other classes, then you would be able to hide yourself from sight on the map. And as far as the enemy AI is concerned, in the game as well. Because when you hide in a box, the enemy does not know where you are. They cannot know. Like, even if they stumble upon the box, what am I trying to say here? Even if they just, you know, like run straight into you in the box, they won't know that you're in there. So you're essentially completely safe. Assuming, of course, that they don't accidentally fire at you. But that's pretty unlikely, especially if you keep your other pigs far away. So yeah, anyway, I was about to say something, but then I forgot about it, and now I just have this feeling like I wanted to say something, but I can't think of what it was, so yeah, I guess there's nothing I can do about that. So, in previous streams,
I want to take this opportunity to apologize for my actions.
in previous streams, I've oftentimes found, especially upon
Yeah, boss?
closer inspection after the streams are done, that I've sometimes struggled to find things to talk about. And I've mostly just, like, kind of reacted to what is happening on screen in the game, but not really, especially like with the Resident Evil playthrough part 1 last time. Let's try that.
That got you now.
So, to remedy that, I actually... crap. I decided to make a few changes, so what I ended up doing is I wrote a to-do list of all the various topics that I would like to bring up. I'm not probably going to talk about all of them because I ended up listing 23 things to talk about.
Come with me.
I kind of want to restart. But I'll keep going for the time being, I guess. Until one of my pigs dies, there's really no point in restarting because, there's always a chance. But yeah, anyway, I listed 23 separate items that I want to talk about, like points of discussion I want to bring up. But that's only if I actually run out of things to talk about, so I'm not going to try and mention all those things, especially since there's so many of them. But I'll probably cherry pick my personal favorites and we'll see what happens. Okay, so now actually I made it up there for the first time in this stream, which is good. That's good progress.
Die, you yellow-bellied chicken.
That's not good. So now that he's poisoned, he's going to take damage every time I play as him. Indeed. Okay, so the scout, or the sniper in this case, a level 2 scout that is one of the best characters to actually take up to the tower, because you can always, like, no matter what the scenario, you can always use the hide ability at the end of your turn to make sure that the enemy doesn't kill you, no matter what. But since the saboteur is so good, and I'll show you shortly, hopefully, why that is, I also wanted to take him up there, or up here. I think I'll just do this for now, just in case. the way the enemy operates typically is that they will shoot at the closest one of your teammates that they see. Now,
I'm being forced
I
to
was
fight
hoping this would
against my
happen.
will. Don't jeopardize my life, sir.
Him actually firing at his comrade there, because, you know, even though I love this game very much, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. So there are certain ways you can exploit the AI pretty effectively, and that's one of them. You can position yourself in such a way that they think they have a direct line of sight at you, but they don't. So now he actually ended up damaging his fellow artillery. Now I could jump into this, but I think what I'll want to do instead is to make sure that he doesn't go into it again. So I'll use the super shotgun, which is the reason why I love this class so much. Observe.
I can't bring myself to look.
So that wasn't the greatest presentation of
What's up, dude?
why I love it so much, but I'll re-demonstrate soon. Now, the guy in the other artillery tower just skipped his turn because he determined that there is nothing he can do of note. And that's something they like to do quite often. Like when they're not super aggressive and hitting you hard with all of their shots, that's typically what they do. So now that I actually you know, never mind. Let me concentrate, and I'll get back to you very soon. Keanu.
Oh man, you guys are mincemeat.
Down he goes. Now, what I was about to say is that
That got you now, piggy.
and no, they did it again. He thought he. Oh shit! Ah! Crap! That calls for a restart. Damn it! I completely forgot about the mines because as the bombardier, you cannot see them. So, yeah, my bad. Now I got distracted again, and I forgot what I was supposed to mention just before using the knife on Keanu. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to demonstrate the power, the mighty power of the super shotgun again in a more comprehensive way as opposed to last time, because last time it really didn't do it justice. The reason why I love this class so much is specifically because of the super shotgun, and unless you upgrade him to Saboteur, which is engineer level 3, you cannot use it. It is only unlocked once you upgrade to Saboteur level. So that's why I wanted to upgrade my other engineer to Saboteur level before we began the match.
Oh, come on, I was drafted. Do I look like a warmonger?
We'll see based on your damage output
I don't think I should be
and your
here.
accuracy. That's pretty good. I would say you are a warmonger. But yeah, so I was supposed to talk about the, what are they? Yeah, the discussion topics that I wrote down. If I at any point feel like I've got no more things to talk about when it comes to the game, I will resort to that list. Now again, I'm playing as the scout, or the sniper, so I can hide, which is very effective because it allows me to ensure that the enemy doesn't fire at me. Now, why did I turn into a tree last time? Like when I just used it, as opposed to a box? Well, it's random. Well, or rather, it is situational, contextual. It depends entirely on where you use it. If the game determines that the area you're currently standing in
Yes?
isn't a place where a tree would normally grow, then it puts you inside a box. What's cool about this is that you know, there are various level themes. Like this is obviously like a desert theme of some kind, but there are snow themes and like grass themes and all those kinds of things, and they all have their own individual trees and other kinds of flora. And the kind of tree there is in... Oh, shit! Ugh. I keep forgetting about those.
Oh, yeah.
Even being able to see them didn't save me. So yeah, the kind of tree you have in each of the map types determines what kind of a tree you turn into when you use the hide ability, which is pretty cool. So now, as the medic, I think I should definitely go and heal my teammates, but now I have to watch out for the mines because I think there are some more, but since I don't see them and I don't remember where they are, I'll just go and hope for the best. Yeah, sure. I'll heal you, as in if I can, I'll heal you as well. Or are you at max health? I don't remember. Well, let's hope they don't fire there because they're positioned very, very badly. Ah, great. Great, I love it.
I'll try, sir. No guarantees.
Are you fucking kidding me? So what happened there is that the artillery shot explosion knocked me into one of the hidden mines on the ground, and if you take enough damage to the point that hitting a mine reduces your HP to 0 or lower, you blow up immediately. There's no death animation, you just blow up. So that's what happened. Oh, that's really great. Last time when I played this yesterday, they didn't use that mine strike a single time, so that's why I'm having such trouble with it. I'm not used to them using it because they typically don't, like in any of the matches or the missions. So I'm just not used to using it. I think I'm going to try to fire the mortar up there, even though it's hard to use. I think that looks pretty good.
Swallow this.
Let's hope for the best. Well, it dealt some damage, I guess. You know what? Let me restart. Because the hard mode is all about perfecting your strategy, like I said before. So, like early on, screw-ups like that, they're just not worth it. Or like, what I mean to say is that, well, I'm sure you understood what I meant to say despite my inability to speak properly. But, yeah, so what I meant to say is that if you screw up at the very beginning of a match, it's really not worth it to keep going because you could do much better. Because, like I said before, the mortar is a weapon powerful enough to easily deal... What am I even doing? To easily deal 70 damage. Especially to an artillery that has a much bigger hitbox than a simple grunt. You know what, let me restart. Just because, like, I won't have time to fire the mortar. Crap. I really can't concentrate and talk at the same time. Maybe I'll get better at it at some point. Hopefully I will. Because it is quite important for a streamer to be able to do that. But for now, it's not my specialty.
Okay, let's
As I'm sure you can tell. every time I decide to get engrossed in what I'm talking about, I screw up in the game, and every time I get engrossed in the game, I have no idea what I'm saying. Like, I'm just spouting out words, hoping that they form some semblance of a sentence. But okay, so with this technique, I'm actually exposing myself to the sniper on my right, but I think it's better than anything I've been doing up until this point because, you know, I can actually hide behind a tree here.
Swallow this, slime ball.
So yeah, scratch that. Now I went too far back. So yeah, doing it like that, well, not missing the artillery towers entirely, but like, just in general, firing the mortar during my first turn at the artillery towers up there is worth it because of two major reasons. Number one, like I said earlier, it can deal pretty massive damage, especially to a target as big as the artillery tower. But there's also another use. I'm sure you noticed it earlier when I went up into the tower in one of my previous attempts. But there's a metal crate up there that has a promotion point inside it, which I need to get, and the only way to get it is to blow it up. Not the promotion point itself, of course, but the actual crate that it is contained in. You see what I mean when I say that the mortar is hard to use? The unfortunate thing about it is that it is one of the AI's favorite weapons to use, and they usually hit you with pinpoint accuracy, dealing at least 50 damage. Which is what the initial strike deals, and then with the clusters, they can deal up to 20 each. So it's pretty much a guaranteed 50. It's very rare that they actually miss you with it. Usually they hit you dead on, especially in hard mode. And when you're using it, it's like you hit your target maybe 1 out of 10 times. Or at least that's the case for me. It's really hard to judge the distances, even as a seasoned vet as myself, because there's really like no proper reference apart from the meter in the upper right and then the map to judge the distance. Ooh, that's pretty good. Nice. I think it requires a stronger explosive than just a mortar strike, or at least 2 mortar strikes at the very least.
Myself to look.
But that's a good start. It's a really good start.
I don't think
I really feel like that's pretty much unavoidable. Like the only way I could avoid that really is if I went up into the tower somehow, incredibly quickly, in a way that the enemy would recognize that I'm an easier target to hit, and then they would fire at me. But even in that case, then this pig is going to take damage, as opposed to the one in the mash tent, who's going to take reduced damage because the mash tent absorbs some of it. So there's really 2 ways to look at it, and I think overall it's better to just let them target the mash tent, especially considering that you know, it's like with how they're in the artilleries and with how accurate they tend to be and how aggressive they tend to be against mash tents. If you jump inside, you will not survive for the 5 turns that it takes to get your health back up to full. So it's, I think, oof, oh, that's not good. That's not good. It is a much better idea generally to just use your medic to heal your pigs, as opposed to, you know what, actually I'll go get this. as opposed to using the mesh tent. So when I mentioned just now that one mortar strike typically isn't enough to destroy the metal box that contains the promotion point, I kind of subtly alluded to the fact that there is actually a weapon crate available somewhere in this map that has a pretty sweet weapon inside. And if you get that, it's like, it's a complete joke. What is it? The metal crate. That's not gonna hit. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
It squarely hit the tree just as I had hoped, which is fantastic. He hasn't been shot. Or maybe he has. I'm actually not sure. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I'll move forward. You might be wondering why I didn't take the health crate just now to heal up my medic, but the reason is that even though I can't use the healing hands to heal myself, I can actually use the other two items to do just that. Now, the downside to it is that I actually waste my turn doing that as opposed to using the healing hands, but at least I'll be able to return my health back up. So I think as the only character who has the capability to heal themselves,
Look out! Over there!
the health crates should definitely be reserved to other characters.
Yeah, boss?
Okay, so I think I'm going to focus on getting rid of the sniper as the bombardier. I think it just makes the most sense, and if the bombardier is further away from the towers than everybody else, then hopefully the towers will ignore me. Okay, so this time... God. Like, I don't know, maybe... Let's do that. Let's hope it hits. I don't know. I really don't know. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Ooh. Oh, dead on. That was dead on. Now I got the sniper down. Not only is he not much of a threat in terms of his combat abilities, but I can also very easily defeat him. That being said, now he's actually down, he's probably going to start moving around, which I need to be wary of. Oh god, okay, so where am I? There's a... Oh no, the health crate was actually taken. I can see the health crate icon on the map, but it's actually for a different health crate altogether. I took the one that was right there, next to where I just ran through, so I couldn't even have taken that as the medic if I wanted to. But now I think my best bet is to try to get up to the tower and use that exploit again, where the artillery guys will shoot at each other instead of me. Of course, in an attempt to shoot me, but I digress. Please, 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 please. Oh, nice. Okay, I think that's enough. Now what you gonna do, sniper? Okay, that's not too bad.
Shoot, is that all I
Yes.
gotta do?
Ooh, I got so lucky. So lucky.
Yes.
Haha, I was actually a pig all this time. One funny thing about the sniper character, the enemy sniper character, is that he's called Sly. And when you compare it to all of the other default names for the pigs, it's very strange because the other ones are like generic, I guess, I don't know what this is a parody of, really, like generic World War II time, what are they, like World War II time male names,
I'd just like to share
American
this
ones.
with
Oh, interesting. Sly
you. Don't
really just
jeopardize
stands
my life,
out.
sir.
And what's really strange about it is that when I was a kid, I was a really big fan of the Sly Cooper franchise. I still am, but to a lesser extent. But back when I was a kid, I really thought that it was just the best game franchise in the world. Like there was no way anything could ever beat Sly 2 in particular. I really, really, really loved that game. I thought it was pretty much perfect. Like if there was ever a 10 out of 10 game, then that was it. I don't feel like that anymore. But crap. But regardless, as I played this and that as a kid, and this game allows you to give your pigs custom names. I of course wanted to name one of my pigs Sly, and I did.
What's up, dude?
But then what's really weird is that it somehow inexplicably feels like the game kind of adopted that name I gave my character, and it has been using it ever since. No matter which save file I use, no matter which console I play it on, it's always there. It's almost like it's like
Why me?
kind of saved onto the disc itself, which makes no sense because, you know, that's impossible. With cartridge-based systems, you save the game onto the actual physical media, the physical game cartridge. But I think this should work. The mortar would have been a better choice in hindsight. But anyway, like I was saying,
Okay.
you can't actually save data onto the disk itself as far as I'm aware, so I have no idea what it's about. That it kind of feels like the name was saved onto the disk itself. No idea what that's about. Okay, so with the mine, you can actually use another item after it, so that's why I'm going to be trying to blow up both of them. So yeah, actually, the explosion, no, sorry, not the explosion, but the slipping and falling actually
I'm gonna smash them
managed
tiny
to
pieces.
land me right on the last health crate in the level. Ooh, ooh, that's not good.
I don't think I should be.
Okay, so this one didn't blow up yet, which is a shame. This is the crate this is the crate I was talking about. It contains the Super TNT, which is the single most powerful weapon in the entire game. Now, using it here would be incredibly foolish if my pigs were up close, because they would just flat out die. There's no way they could survive. But since there aren't any, let me just do this. And then I'll move over here, I think. So, like you just saw, it dealt 166 points of damage to the artillery tower. What's he gonna do? Yeah, sniper. I figured as much.
Fish in a barrel.
But that's fine, that's fine. You're not gonna survive this next one.
Ah, yes?
Okay, so now we've got one with 90 health, one with 70, and one with 10. So it's a pretty good situation, but I still need to get the promotion point from up here, which I will do right now, because this should have been blown open. Yeah, exactly. That's excellent. Now, I think I'll choose... I'll choose him as my target. What's my health at? 47. So that's not great. If he uses the... Hold on. If he uses the mortar on myself, I'm pretty much dead. Did I say myself? I meant to say me. I'm not sure if I said myself. Anyway, so I paused the game because I wanted to give a little bit of a preamble again. Now I will demonstrate the true power of the super shotgun. Behold. Actually, no. This might be stupid. Let me think. If I'm gonna fire at him with the super shotgun, it's gonna deal, I think, 30 damage. So not a lot. He's still gonna be left with a good 40. But then if I use the TNT, then it deals 50 damage. He's gonna be left with 20. And then if I were able to place the mine in such a way that he would take damage from both, in the best case scenario, the absolute best case scenario where both weapons hit him perfectly, he would die. But it's really risky. Now, based on that little analysis of mine alone, you might think that it's absolutely foolish to hold on. Let me do one thing real quick. Just in case somebody tunes in to the stream, I want to have the comments available so I can read them at a moment's notice. But yeah, enough about that for now, because it seems like nobody's watching right now. Actually, that's kind of a bummer. Now I have the comments open. I can't actually see how many people are watching. That's a shame. So people comment, please, if you tune in. Most likely nobody's gonna, because, you know, we're playing Hogs of War on the original PlayStation. The kind of bootleg worms, if you will. I don't think anybody's gonna be watching this, but if you tune in, please send me a comment so I'll know you're here. So anyway, based on that analysis of mine, you might think like it's completely foolish to even attempt using the super shotgun if it only deals 30 damage, but there is another component to it beyond just the damage output. The damage output isn't that great. It's actually not any better than the base shotgun, but it's the other component to it that makes it my favorite weapon in the game. And I'm betting on it to finish off this guy for me, because if it doesn't, I'm as good as dead. So let's hope for the best, because I'll use the shotgun now. Behold.
Oh, I can't bring myself to look.
Okay, so that didn't work like I wanted at all, but you saw that the kickback, or sorry, the like the...
Oh, please excuse me.
What do you even want to call that? Like the pushback or whatever.
You have...
Oh my god, no! Fuck!
Okay, wait up.
Ah, damn it. The pushback, or the blowback or whatever on the super shotgun is insane. And just like with the enemy AI, there are ways to exploit the pushback or the blowback on the super shotgun. Now, right then and there, I wasn't able to. But hopefully, the Hogs of War goddess will smile upon me this time. So I think I'm going to do the exact same thing as last time, at first, at least. So I'm going to take these mortars. There we go. Then I'm going to hide behind this tree so the sniper can't shoot me. There we go. And I take out the mortar, I aim, And I fire.
Swallow this, slime ball.
That's pretty good. Nice. It hit both of them. That's good. 69.
The tragic waste of young pigs.
Could you be any more boring? Every time.
I don't
Every
think I
time you do
should
the same
be
thing.
here.
Now what else is there? I think this is like the first point in the stream where I kind of feel like I'm running out of things to say. So I might have to refer to my list of discussion topics soon. But before I do that, let me play this turn. The enemy turns are a good little break. What am I trying to say? The enemy turns are a good place for me to do other things. Don't be too quick about it, okay?
Action stations. Ah, yes?
I've chosen my first topic to talk about. Let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, school. So, what I wanted to mention is that even though I started this stream at around 3 a.m. and I was supposed to start around 1, but it took me really long, like unexpectedly long, to get started. So that's why I started at 3 a.m. and not 2 hours prior like I was supposed to originally. Never mind. So, even though I started at 3 a.m. and it's now half 4, and you know I have no intention of ending the stream anytime soon. I do have school tomorrow. So why am I still up at half 4 streaming for you guys? Especially when nobody's even watching and I'm not doing very well in the game. Well, number one, because I
think you boys are a treasure machine.
drank a good bit of coffee before the stream. I'm actually quite aware and awake. And furthermore, school doesn't start for me until 1 p.m. So there's no rush. Like, even if this stream goes on for like, I don't know, the next hour and a half till it's 6, I can still get in basically as many hours of sleep as I want. Now, I don't typically tend to sleep for very long. I think it's just a waste of time to sleep for like 8 hours or whatever. I sometimes do that when I'm not in a hurry in any way. And especially if I've gone to sleep early, then I could easily, like, let's say, early for me is like, say, 12, or especially 11. So let's say I go to, what the hell? You don't want to do that, buddy. Keanu, what are you doing?
Do this. I'm
Oh no.
sorry.
What? Hold on. That calls for a break. What the fuck just happened? I've never seen that before. Like I said, this game isn't perfect, but I've never seen a thing happen where the guy jumps out of the artillery tower, then he teleports by the power of magic ammunition that just kind of like phased in. He teleports inside the artillery tower, and he doesn't realize he's inside it. So he tries to fire the mortar, which is one of his most devastating weapons, or in fact his most devastating weapon at that current level. He fires it inside the artillery tower, and he not only destroys the artillery tower, but he deals massive damage on himself. So at this point, because that's not supposed to happen. That's not an intended feature of the game. That's literally never happened to me before in the hundreds of hours that I've played this game for. Over the course of at least 10 years of my life. I really feel like I should restart. But just for the sake of like moving the stream onward, and just for the sake of, or like because I know there's no way for me to confirm this, but you'll just have to take my word as I say that I basically completed this yesterday. Like I was one turn away from winning, and there was no way I was going to lose. They had one pig left. The pig had like maybe 40 health, so most of my pigs have a weapon that can pretty easily deal that amount of damage. So it was like mere seconds away, my victory. I was doing so well. But then the game suddenly froze, and there was nothing I could do about it. I tried to like take the disc out and then clean it up and put it back in multiple times. It didn't work. It just wouldn't unfreeze anymore. So I had no choice but to quit the game. So I essentially forfeited that basically perfect match just because the game refused to work. So I think now it is fair for me to exploit this major glitch that I've never encountered before, just because the game was really just like bullshit yesterday. But I haven't fully made up my mind on whether I want to actually like finish the match like this or not. So for now, let's keep going. Let's see how this goes, and if it goes really well, I think I might just give in and finish it like this, partially as payback for yesterday. But if it goes badly, then, what can you do? We'll just try again. I kind of hope that's going to happen, because I don't want to win by cheating, but I think I've earned it since yesterday, since I already completed this, basically. So before that happened, what was I talking about? School. Yeah, so if I went to sleep at 11 p.m., then I could easily sleep for like 8 hours and then wake up at 7. That's no problem. But if I go to sleep at a time like this, like let's say I went to sleep in 30 minutes at 5, then I would sleep till 10 a.m. at the very latest. It doesn't matter when I go to sleep. I will basically never sleep longer than till 10 a.m. I think it's just a complete waste of time. It's a really poor start to my day, and it just kind of makes me kind of discouraged about the entire rest of the day, or at least the first few hours of it, if I wake up any later than 10. But since tomorrow school starts at 1 for me, and this is probably going to go on for like until 6, I think I'm probably going to sleep till 10, maybe even 11, just because I can, and because this is going to go on for some time now, I bet. Or for some time still. And I'm not in a hurry to get up. I think I'm going to sleep till 11 so I can get in like at least 5 hours. And I think 5 hours is plenty. For me, it's plenty. I don't need any more to function properly throughout the day. But I know it's not necessarily healthy to sleep for 5 hours every night. But that's why I try to mix it up. Like during weekends, I'll usually try to extend it to like 7 or at least 6. And then whenever I can throughout the week, I'll try to do the same. I'll always try to maximize my hours as best as I can without putting too much of an emphasis on going to sleep early. Because, that's just not my style. I'm usually my most active and my most productive later in the evening. That might sound stupid, but somehow I just can't ever bring myself to get anything productive done earlier in the day. It's like when it gets dark, that's when I really start getting into it. So anyway, that's enough about that. I think the school topic is just like, well, not entirely dealt with. I still wanted to mention that, because of the coronavirus situation going on currently, I'm sure, even if you're not at school yourself, I'm sure, well, I assume you've heard how schools operate right now. Hold on, let me get a quick drink. That's better. So anyway, maybe you've heard how schools operate during this time. And the way they do is through like remote teaching. So it's not exactly, but essentially it is a mass Skype call that all of the students in my group group up in. And then the teacher is the only one who's talking. And then he's, or they are sharing their screen to us so we can see what they're doing. They can give like some kind of presentation or just like show us examples of how to do certain things. I actually like, I'm studying, what would be a good name for it in English? Because, I don't know if it bears repeating multiple times, even though, because I've said it before, but I'm not actually a native English speaker. So in my country, Finland, we of course have very different names for many things, and sometimes they're hard to translate directly into English. But I think calling it information technology and like computer science, that's basically what it is. So that's what I'm currently studying. So the teacher could, for example, share this preview sample of some code they've written, and then we're supposed to like, if not copy and paste it directly, then at least like take some notes and see how we could improve our own code or something like that. Or then they can just, give us a presentation by showing us slides on a PowerPoint presentation or whatever. So that's basically how it goes, and it works surprisingly well. Like the connection's usually stable, and there haven't been too many issues with sound and picture. Usually if there are issues, it's down to the individual user and not the service itself. We're not using Skype, like I said earlier, but it's a Skype-like service called Zoom. And I was skeptical about it at first when we were first told how we were gonna operate during this difficult situation, but well, the service proved me wrong. It works surprisingly well. And I actually highly prefer this over going to school normally, because we have this kind of awkward situation going on where the place that I go to school normally is under renovation, so that we can't actually study there. So we were transferred over to a different city that has another school building under the same management. And of course, because it's in a different city, as you can imagine, I'm sure it's further away, quite a bit further away. Like as opposed to 30 minutes of travel time one way, it's more like an hour and a half. So that's not great. I oftentimes try to come up with excuses not to go there, and usually it would work out just fine. But it's really not worth it in the long run. So I think this works in my favor really well. So if there's anything good to come out of this situation, it's that my studying is made easier by it. You would imagine it's harder, but I think it's much better this way. I'm not saying, of course, that the situation should go on any further than it needs to, just because it's easier for me. I'm not saying that at all. That would completely undermine the whole, the threat and the breadth of the situation. And that's not what I intend to do, so I apologize if it came across that way. That's not what I mean, in the slightest. But yeah, so tomorrow we'll be doing some programming stuff, but I don't have to worry about it for now. It's only at 1 p.m., so I don't have to go to sleep too early. I don't have to wake up too early, so it's all fine and dandy. So now, after this massive divergence from what we were actually supposed to be doing, let's get back to the game. I can't remember where I left off. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Okay, so wait a minute. Did I actually get rid of the sniper? I don't think I did. He still got that 10 HP, right? When the camera is panning across the entire map, I can see, hopefully, I can see him. If he's still there. Oh, wait. No. What am I saying? This is a completely different run-through of the mission. Ah, me idiot. Oh yeah, this is the one with the glitch. Of course. I forgot about that. So, I think... yeah. I'll just attack him. Hopefully he'll take as much damage as possible. So last time, I hit him pretty much dead on. Could not have gone much better. Let me take this. The TNT. I'm really a little bit concerned about this sore throat that I have, because it's not something I generally get. It just seems like a bad omen of things to come. How was this? It was pretty much like that, I think. Let's see. Hopefully I don't get the coronavirus. It could have been better, but at least he fell down, and he took quite a bit of damage. 36 out of 50 is not bad for the initial strike, Ooh, but I really don't know about this throat of mine. It's not great.
I like an easy mark.
If it gets worse, I might have to actually... 100? What?
Come with me.
I might have to end the stream early. But we'll see. Now I'll try my best to make it up to the tower. I don't think that's gonna be... Oh, no. This is the time that I just barely managed to make it behind the first tower in a way that the other one might shoot at me. Now, of course, there aren't two towers anymore because of that glitch. But you get my point. Like, I can just barely make it there. Maybe if I'm fast enough, I can actually, like, leave a TNT or something. Oh. Oh, shit. When I saw the guy standing there, I thought, for some reason, that he had to come out of the artillery tower, which allows me to jump in, because I can use them as well, assuming that there is no enemy inside them. But that wasn't the case, so I ended up wasting that turn. At least I got up there, so that's good. If you're wondering why the sniper didn't slip and fall as he was standing on the gray part of the cliffside, it's because, well, again, the game isn't perfect. There are certain spots in the gray areas where you can stand without slipping. The AI knows exactly where they are, so they can exploit them in a way that I generally can't. So it's not completely one-sided. The AI can exploit the game just as well as I can, but in different ways. Okay, so now I get to use one of my favorite abilities, Pickpocket, which allows me to, you guessed it, steal items from the enemy. Pistol, that's not very good. Shredder, those are basically the two worst weapons he has, so that's not good at all. But I don't know. I'll just shoot at him with the sniper.
I
doesn't kill him or anything.
Share this with you.
But my hope is that if somebody decides to shoot at my sniper, then they'll also damage and perhaps even kill this bombardier, Keanu. Please, Keanu, don't kill me. What's he gonna do? What? That's one of those rare situations where the AI, for some reason, just assumes that there's nothing they can do, and they end up forfeiting their turn, which bodes very well for me. I'm pretty sure you can walk faster backwards, so let's do this, actually. It's not optimal, but we have to make do with what we have. If I want to if I want to make it as far as I can, I think this is my best bet. Shit. Of course, there is the problem that I don't see where I'm going, but, you know. Despite the glitch, I don't, there's no way I'm gonna win this. Okay, thank God. So now there's him with his 20 HP. Definitely gonna heal him. I've got 80, so I don't need to heal myself, or actually I can't. I'm gonna use all 3 on him because, well, you know, the most important thing is that nobody dies, even if it's not always the most strategic option. Now, because I've got 2 of my own pigs here, I don't actually, or I won't use the Super TNT, of course, but I'll do this instead.
Oh man, you guys have minced me.
My aim was a little bit off, but at least it worked. Yep. Now let's see what he's gonna do. Please just hide. Please. I wish it was possible with poisoned characters to just forfeit their turn without moving,
You boys don't never want to cross
so as to avoid
me.
taking damage, but, you know, what you gonna do? Now, as opposed to worms, in this game, if you get poisoned, you can actually get killed by it. In worms, the very minimum you can have or go down to is 1 HP. But in this game, it can actually kill you, and it brings about a certain kind of strategic element to its usage, which we will perhaps discuss a little bit later on. Nice, nice, that's excellent. Okay, so I could still win this. I think even with the glitch that happened, I'm not completely OP, like, at all. Ooh, that's bad. How much health does the one on the left have? Oh, thank God. That's another one of those rare instances where they completely miss their mark. I almost forgot that I actually need that promotion point. If I win without getting it, there's no way to get it back. The mission is over, and I lose access to it. So it essentially means that since my ultimate goal is to get a full team of fully upgraded pigs, I either 90 and 80, okay. I either take it with me, or I don't, you know. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump into the artillery tower. I'm going to shoot at the container with this. No matter how many points of damage I take, I just need to destroy.
I'll make them sob like girls, sir.
Okay. I think that's about the best I could do. Using the Super TNT there would have killed him, and the match would have been over. It didn't destroy the container. He's gonna miss again. even I, as somebody who is completely incapable of using the mortar, can see that the meter was off. That was not gonna hit us, no matter what. Oh, shit. So, yeah, it wasn't destroyed. I think, I'm not sure if you need to use the Super TNT or if you just need to inflict a certain amount of damage, but... Like, there's two ways to go about this. I could... You know what? Since the most important thing is for me to get my pigs away from the container so I can use the Super TNT, I think I'm going to place him here and just hide. This is risky, for sure, but I trust that he's going to do...
Kiss your tails
Okay.
goodbye.
Ah, yes?
If he keeps screwing up like that, then I might actually have a winning chance. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so who actually has the Super TNT? I can't remember. Now, here's one thing I wish I didn't have to do. But I do. I kind of have to waste one turn trying to get him away from here. I don't want to kill him. I just want him out of here so he doesn't die when I use the Super TNT.
I can't bring myself to look.
It's dumb that I have the most powerful weapon in the game, but I can't use it because I need to avoid killing the enemy. But that's just how the game is. It's part of the technique. From far away, they are very accurate with the mortar, so I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to hit pretty much perfectly. Ouch. That doesn't kill me or anything, but it's not great.
This could be a victory of legendary proportions.
I like what I hear. Now, I think I'm just going to heal myself, because he doesn't have the Super TNT, right? Yeah, that's right. Now, with the medicine dart, how do you heal yourself? Well, you fire straight up, of course. But before I do that, I think I'm going to assume a position as safe as possible. Like, I don't know where exactly I want to position myself. I don't think it makes much of a difference. If I was able to get right up close and personal with the last remaining bad guy, I could condition him into shooting me with the pistol, which deals 20 damage, guaranteed. Which is way better than him using the mortar and dealing 50 or more. Which is, I don't think I could have run to him in time. I think that was my best bet. At least he's using the bazooka. The bazooka doesn't spread into clusters, and it only deals 40 damage maximum. So, I'm not too worried. That's not great.
If you can't be bothered to collect your medals, I won't bother sending anymore.
Yeah, I hear ya. So, I mean, he's at the very end of his life, but luckily I left this one health crate here, completely intentionally, of course. And now his status ailment has been cleared, he's no longer poisoned, and furthermore, he can move a little bit faster, and he's got some extra health. Now, why am I going to leave him standing here? Well, the reason is that when I stand close to water, there's a pretty high chance that the enemy projectiles will actually fall into water, where they will have no effect. Now, of course, he's firing at the wrong guy, but... Okay. Right, so this guy has the Super TNT, so I'm hoping I can actually back away enough. Oh, actually, I can take this health crate to be able to run. There we go. And then I'll place the Super TNT, and he's got, what, 38 HP now. Gotta put it far away, as far away as possible. That should be pretty good. Let's hope it does the trick, and then I'll run away. Yeah, definitely blew it up. Excellent. Now, the last thing I need to do, I need to get up to the tower to pick up the promotion point really quick. And then I need to kill him before anything bad happens. Let's see what he does. I'm not sure where my guy landed after he slid down the cliffside. Let's hope he fucks up again, just like last time. Firing straight into the cliffside.
Bugs are ancient history.
Oof. Well, at least he missed. At least he missed.
Leaving shiny medals lying around really won't do. If you don't want them, you don't have to say.
I do want them. It's just that I have to be very strategic about what I do. Now, I'm very glad it was actually the sniper's turn, because he was pretty much the best candidate to get the medal or the promotion point or whatever. Both terms are acceptable because the game uses both terms. Okay, that's great. And then finally, he's got 35 health. This deals 40. Goodbye, John Boy.
Does this mean
Mission
we can't be
complete.
friends?
Awesome. My blood.
Sorry, mission accomplished, of course. Now that was quite the roller coaster of emotions. From that crazy glitch that happened to feeling like there's no way I can win to actually triumphing victoriously. Or should I say, winning triumphantly? I don't know. Anyway, now as you can see, I got one medal for a level completion, another one for saving all of my pigs from death, and then one last one for getting the optional special bonus medal. Now I got myself 3 extra medals or promotion points, so I actually made back the ones I used to clear this mission.
The importance of camouflage. Shape. You over there. Yes, you. There are no squares in nature. Break up those straight lines with natural foliage. Try. Anything can reflect light, from the common belt buckle to the binocular lens. See to it before it's too late. Silhouette. The shape of the head and shoulders are unmistakable. Even an exposed helmet attracts undue attention. Be inventive, cover up, or take cover. Sound. You can make a lot of commotion while out on patrol. Noise can carry for long distances, especially at night. Become familiar with a silent routine in which hand signals replace the spoken word. Get it right, and they'll get the message.
I appreciate these intermission cutscenes, but they typically don't have much to do with the actual gameplay, which is a shame. The Daily Squealer. Victory in Australia. Next stop, Trottsville. Get your war bonds. Save your bacon.
Good! Everything is going to plan! So Australia is ours! I've awarded you,
5.
5 additional promotion points to bolster your squad. Things could be difficult from here on in.
Now, of course, as the general just explained, in addition to the 3 I got for completing the mission, because I completed a region of one of the 5 in the game, or is it 6? There's 6 regions, I guess, like in the literal sense, but I think the game only counts 5 of them as actual regions. So let's say there's 5. So completing the second one out of the 5 regions in the game, because there's 5 levels per region, and I just completed level 10 or mission 10. So that's the end of region 2. It's Australia. The first one was Hogs, and now we're going on to Trottsville. So every time you finish a region, you get 5 extra promotion points. It has nothing to do with the it has no requirements beyond just finishing the missions. You don't need to save all your pigs. You don't need to get the optional medals. All you need to do is get there. So now I have 11 promotion points to use, and if I wanted to, I could, for example, promote him using 6 PP to the next level, Commando. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, or is it in the beginning? I think in the beginning is better. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, going beyond the level 3 for each career path actually converges them all in a single point. So they all become essentially the same. Of course, that same is a very powerful character with many, many awesome abilities. But one thing I really, really dislike about doing that is that if you do it for the engineers, or the saboteurs rather, they lose access to the super shotgun. And even though you've seen 2 demos of how the super shotgun actually works, neither of them showed the absolute, true, chaotic strength of the weapon. And I intend to show it in this stream yet. So I definitely won't be upgrading this guy or Revolver to a Commando before I manage to show you that. But I typically I like to upgrade all of my other pigs to Commandos before I touch the Saboteurs, because the Super Shotgun, really, I cannot there's no way I can oversell it. It is just a completely OP broken weapon that I love so much. It is so useful. Like, there are weapons that deal way more damage, like the Super TNT and another special kind of weapon. Well, there's actually 2 of them, 2 types. But the Super Shotgun, well, it's called the Super Shotgun for a reason. Let's just say that. It actually has to do with another exploit. It wouldn't be as amazing as it is. Like, you know, even though in the previous mission there weren't any minefields, there are minefields in this game, and they don't function similarly or exactly like worms. Because in worms you can always see where the mines are, and there's always one mine in a specific place, and then there can be other mines in other locations, and there can be a lot of mines all throughout the map. But it's always one mine, and you can see where it is. And when you walk into it, it doesn't explode immediately, unless, of course, you've set in the game rules that it specifically explodes immediately. But in this game, the mines explode immediately, and you can't see them unless you're playing as an engineer, like we demonstrated earlier. And the mines are always confined to specific mine fields, unless a player or an enemy specifically places mines or shoots them with the artillery tower. You saw that mine strike earlier. So those are the 2 ways you can have mines outside of minefields, which are always marked on the map, and you can always see them very well. Like, even if you can't see the individual mines, you can see the minefields as any character. They are very clearly marked on the map and in the game world as well. So that's not much of an issue, but only the engineer can see the checkerboard pattern that we saw earlier. I did actually save, right? Okay, I went into the save screen, and then I chose the one, and then it showed the overriding icon, and then I said okay, and then it changed resolutions. Yeah, I think I did save. So I can just safely hang here in the menu for a little bit while I explain stuff. I think we could take a little break after that. That experience with the last mission, it was fun, but it was quite intense at times. So yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so you can see the minefields as any character, but you can only see the checkerboard patterns as the engineers. And why is that special? Why is that a thing you can do? Oh, actually, I think even as the Commando and then the final class that you unlock, you can also see them. But with the other career paths, you can't until you make it to Commando. But anyway, why is the checkerboard pattern so important? Well, the minefields don't have an infinite number of mines. If you blow up a mine, whether it's by walking into it or actually like shooting at it, it is permanently destroyed. It doesn't come back. And then if you remember where the mines have been destroyed, you can actually walk over the minefields in certain places. And in certain maps there are even hidden paths throughout the minefields that lead you to other parts of the map or to boxes that can't otherwise be obtained. And those places, well, while technically reachable as any of the characters through trial and error, it only really makes sense to use the engineer classes and better ones, like later ones, the commando and then the final class, to traverse the dangerous minefields, because they can see exactly where the mines are. If you take your time, there is no danger of accidentally walking into a mine. I mean, of course you need to be careful. You can very easily accidentally walk into a mine. But if you are careful and methodical, it's basically it is safe. Now what is dangerous is actually staying in the minefield, because you can like stand in the middle of it, and then if enemies fire at you, you can actually accidentally get bumped into the mines, which can cause a chain reaction, which could even cause instant death. So that's pretty bad. But you can go through and into the minefields as engineer characters. And I think in the next mission we'll actually see a demonstration of that. And it's not necessarily a hidden path within the minefield, but you'll actually see that there are minefields, which everybody can see, but only the engineer classes can see where the mines are placed. And if you destroy the mines in whatever way you can think of, then you can traverse through the minefields. The mission previous to this, oh, no, actually, not the mission previous, but mission 8, 2 missions back. And when I say the mission previous to this, I refer to mission 10, one you just saw. So, in mission 8, there was actually a minefield surrounding the entire map. Like, it's a map where there are buildings that you can go inside that contain health crates in the middle of it, and then there's mountains high up surrounding the entire map, and the enemies are all hiding atop the mountains. And you're confined in the middle because there is a minefield, like a circular minefield surrounding the entire zone, but there is a secret path in the minefield that only the engineers can see. And if you traverse through it, well, it's not so simple as just walking through it. You actually need to destroy at least a single mine to actually get through it safely. But once you do that, then as the engineer characters, you can easily get out of bounds, as it were, and you can begin your assault on the enemy. Of course, you can use ranged weapons, but the engineer characters in particular, they don't typically have ranged weapons, so that's why it's good for them to be able to go outside. And of course, if you study the pattern of the minefield, you can technically go through the safe paths as any character, but you need to be very careful, because if you step into the wrong spot, you can't see that the mine's there, but it is there, and then you'll get blown up in the worst case scenario. Now, I'm just thinking, like, what should I do? Should I perhaps... So I have 11. It takes 6 to upgrade to a commando. And all of these, Snouter, Swineko, and Balkan, they require the 3 promotion point promotion, and then another 6 promotion point one. So it takes 9 in total, leaves me with 11. Sorry, I can't do math at 5 a.m. apparently. Leaves me with 2. So, actually, let me do one thing real quick. Because I'm actually playing the game on a pretty old plasma TV, image retention is a thing, where leaving the game running on a stagnant screen like a pause menu or similar can... The camera was on my phone for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally turned it on myself. Anyway, since I'm playing on a plasma, I have to avoid image retention by avoiding leaving the game running on stagnant screens for too long, because then there can be permanent image burn-in that you can't get rid of no matter what. It will always be on the screen. It's kind of like a ghosting effect. It's very innocuous most of the time, but it's definitely there. If you know it's there, then you can probably see it, especially if the screen is completely white. You can see them pretty easily. And I've actually had some image retention, so I want to avoid it at all costs. So I actually switched to white noise, as it's called, to avoid that while I talk. Because of course it makes no sense to play the game. I should just interrupt the game like every 15 minutes to talk for half an hour. No, but seriously, I just feel like, or felt like taking this short break before I continue. Now, since it's 5, I'm just thinking like, well, I think if my condition doesn't worsen, I'm gonna keep going till about 6. So for another, well, 50 minutes or so. It's a little over 5. And then I'll quit. So maybe, like, hopefully we'll be able to complete the next mission. Well, not at this rate if I just keep talking and talking and talking, but we'll keep going shortly. So hopefully we'll be able to complete the next mission, or we'll probably do that anyway, no matter how long it takes, if my condition doesn't worsen. But I'm not trying to deliberately exaggerate my condition here, but even though I don't feel sick otherwise, my throat really is just kind of starting to hurt, and I don't think it's because I'm talking, because I'm always talking. You might think it's crazy. Maybe I shouldn't even say this, because many people can think it's crazy, but I like to talk to myself. I think, like, it's not a crazy kind of talking to myself where I think there's another person there where there actually isn't, but it's more like think of it as me thinking out loud when there's nobody else here, because I live alone. Why not speak my thoughts? I find it helps me think clearer when I actually say things out loud instead of just thinking them. And another thing I like about it is that, especially since I'm not a native English speaker, it allows me to keep up my or how should I put it? Like, it allows me to continuously, at least gradually, improve my vocabulary and my, like, the fluidity of my speech and my pronunciation. I don't think there's really that much in terms of progress to be made. Like, I'm not one to self-promote usually, but I do it when it's applicable, when it really is applicable without question. And I think this is one of those cases. I'm very, very proud of how well I am able to speak English. So there's not that much progress to be made anymore. It's been a very long and arduous process, one that I've enjoyed greatly, but still, it's taken a very long time. I've studied English since I was 10, so for 10 years now. I'm 20. I'll actually turn 21 in 11 days, so, I mean, I don't know, it's cool, I guess, but I'm much more excited for the release of Resident Evil 3 Remake tomorrow than I am for my birthday. But yeah, just throwing that out there, it's my birthday. In 11 days, on the 13th. It's not, I don't say it so I'll get people congratulating me. I don't really care about that, but I just thought I'd mention it because it is timely. So, yeah, talking to myself allows me to continuously learn and improve my English skills in a way that I typically can't, because I don't tend to run into many situations where I'm actually able to speak English with another English speaker. I do have that same friend of mine that I've talked about before on stream, whom I play the Resident Evil games with. Like, we're doing blind playthroughs in the sense that he's never played any of the games, and then I'm acting as his guide. But as opposed to being a helpful, friendly guide, I'm actually actively going out of my way to lead him into trouble. Simply because I want him to experience the game like it was originally intended. I want him to do it without any guidance. So I give him bad advice because I want to test him. I want to see if he can figure out the truth, or spot the truth amidst all my lies, and actually do the things that he should to survive in those games. And I really enjoy it. But anyway, he is Finnish as well. But unlike myself, he's not such a English connoisseur. So even though we have made some strides to speak English together, his pronunciation is more like, "Hello guys, this is just a guy, and welcome to my Hogs of War stream for the original PlayStation." He speaks like that. So, I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. That's basically how most Finns speak English. The accent is very, very heavy. So, it really doesn't feel the same. It feels kind of awkward to talk to him. But we're improving. We're steadily improving. Every now and again. So anyway, why was I talking about Resident Evil and a friend of mine? Why did I mention that? Why did I bring that up? I keep digressing so often that I forget half the things I was supposed to say, and I never end up finishing my thoughts. I get that's probably really annoying, but and I feel you. It is annoying when I forget, and then I just lose that train of thought, and that thought remains unfinished forever, potentially. But there's not much I can do about it. It's just in my nature to digress like that. So I apologize for that, if it's annoying. I know it is for me, for certain. So anyway, speaking English with him. Oh yeah, of course. So apart from that, I don't really get opportunities to speak English with others. So to cover up for that, I speak to myself. So I hope you don't take me for a crazy person for it. I think it's justified. I think I have pretty good grounds to speak to myself, or based on which I can speak to myself. Right, whatever. Okay. Just check that the recording is working as it should. How long have I just been here sitting and talking without playing the game? I'm not sure. Yeah, anyway, I think we should get back into the game before, this throat of mine gets worse. Because I just Like I don't see this being a cause of, or sorry, I'm not perfect at speaking English, mind you, but that's the very same with my native language, Finnish. Sometimes the words just lose me. I find that when you speak two languages, I think I can say very well. There are often cases where I can think of a word in one language, but it's not the one. It's never the one that I'm actually speaking. So I kind of end up mixing and matching at times with people who understand both languages. But with you guys, usually, I mean, so far nobody's actually tuned into any of my streams, but when that will hopefully eventually start happening, I doubt there will be many Finns there, so it doesn't make sense for me to speak Finnish. So instead, you're gonna have those awkward gaps where I'm trying to think of what to say, and then they're, you know. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't think this sore throat of mine comes from the fact that I've been speaking too long, because, I mean, I think I've been more talkative this stream than any of the previous ones, because I specifically made it a point to do that, but, and because I'm not tired like I usually am, that probably helps too, and I have a lot to say about this game, so that helps as well. But yeah, I don't think it's because of that. I hope it's not it, but I don't know. Could it be the coronavirus? I don't know. I have been narrowly avoiding it thus far, going to the store and everything. But maybe now I finally ran out of my good luck and I actually caught the disease. Let's hope it's not the case, but like, I was supposed to visit my parents and relatives in my, how should I put it? Can you say, when you're talking about the town where you were born in and you spent your childhood, can you talk about your birth town or childhood town? Childhood home, I guess, I don't know. Like, anyway, I was supposed to visit my childhood home and see all of my relatives on Friday. And Friday just so happens to be the day that Resident Evil 3 Remake launches. Or, like, it comes out. And even though I think I said in the Resident Evil stream, the Resident Evil Remake stream from last time, that I would first play through the game on my own, in peace, and then I would stream my second playthrough. I think instead, because, you know, it might sound weird, again, but when I play games by my lonesome, I tend to speak my mind, or rather, I tend to vocalize my thoughts, even then. Like, I react out loud when I'm playing the game and I get scared. I'm not just like, I'm more like, oh god, fuck! And I really like to do that. I really enjoy it. I think it emphasizes the experience. And every time I do that and something great happens, or something cool, something crazy, something weird, that it gets a good reaction out of me, I really wish I was actually streaming or at least recording so that people could see that. So I'm trying to avoid that by actually streaming my first reactions to the game. And I don't think it's going to detract from the experience a whole lot because, number one, most likely nobody's gonna be tuning in. Well, it is a game that is just launched, a game that is highly anticipated by many. So maybe I'll get some traffic for the first time. That could be great. I'm not saying I don't want that. I'm just saying that it might detract from my overall enjoyment and immersion into the game if people are chatting as I'm playing. But again, don't get me wrong, I do want that. It's just that it might detract from the experience a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. But I'd rather have people tuning in than not. Much rather. How am I supposed to grow on this platform if nobody tunes in? Of course. I want to form this little community where we can chat about games and all kinds of other stuff and just chill out and have a good time. So, God, I keep digressing all the time. What was I talking about? Anyway, Resident Evil 3 Remake. I think instead of streaming my second playthrough, I'm just gonna stream my first playthrough the day it comes out, which is tomorrow. So if I end up getting sick, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be feeling well enough to stream, probably not, but if I am, and if I actually don't get sick, but I'm kinda feeling it coming slowly, I might just stream it, and then if I'm a little bit sick, but not too sick, then I could just like not go visit my relatives and then stay here and play Resident Evil 3 Remake. And technically, I could stream there, but since there are other people, and then I would have to bring all of my recording equipment there, I really don't think it's a good idea. So either I'm gonna go and I won't stream it the day it comes out, or I'll stay here and I will stream it. Unless I get sick, of course. But yeah, I think that's about it. Now let's get back to the fucking game finally. So I've been just procrastinating in the menu here for so long that I think it actually might be a good idea for me to quit the game, like reboot the PlayStation, and then just start the game all over again. It doesn't take that long, and I think it's going to ensure, at least hopefully, that that it doesn't freeze in the middle of the mission. So bear with me just for a quick second as I reboot the game. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm not sure if it matters at all, but I usually like to take the disc out, especially a scratched up disc like this one. Blow any possible dirt off of it, and then put it back in with the label facing like north relative to the console, and then just put the lid down and press the power button. I don't know if it matters, probably doesn't, but I like to do that, just in case. It at least doesn't make it any worse. Well, I guess technically, in the worst case scenario, you could end up scratching the disc just a little bit more when you keep taking it out and putting it back in, but I'm assuming it's not that scratch prone. Skip. Yeah, so back to the game. What I wanted to elaborate on before I went off on all those various tangents is that I'm not sure what to spend my PP on. Now again, I have to adjust the screen just for a little bit more enjoyment. Yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. One player, load game. So yeah, anyway, I'm not sure what to spend my PP on. I could technically get a commando, but then I'll only be left with 2 PP as opposed to, say, 5 if I actually promote 2 separate pigs by using 3 PP for each. I would actually like to point out that this name, I don't know how to pronounce it for real, but like Ruski, it's not mine. So if this is in any way offensive, I don't know if it is. It probably isn't, but if it is, I would like to point out that this wasn't named by me. This is it's the save data of that same friend of mine who we play the Resident Evil games with. So if you have any mean comments to say about this, direct them to him and not me, please. I did not have any influence in naming his team. Speaking of team names, or rather character names, I would like to quickly direct your attention to the names. If you're familiar with Metal Gear Solid, you might already have figured out my naming scheme here, but of course these are all characters from the Foxhound the Foxhound Special Forces Squad from Metal Gear Solid, the first one on PlayStation from 1998, with pig-related puns slapped onto each name. So of course there's Liquid Snake as Pig Quid. Then there's Sniper Wolf as Snouter. There's Revolver Ocelot as Revolver Ocelot, or just Revolver. In case you're wondering why I've abbreviated it like that, taking out the L and the last E. Or sorry, not the L, but the O and the last E. It's because there wasn't enough space to write all of it. And there's Psycho Mantis as Swineco. And there's Vulcan Fury as Balkan. There's Decoy Octopus as Deek Oink. There's Johnny Sasaki, who is, of course, not a member of Foxhound, per se. At least not a member of the core team. But because I ran out of members, and I needed to fill up the rest of the spots with something, we went with this, or I went with this. I told you I'm not crazy. There's nobody else here. I talk to myself. I acknowledge that it's just me. There's nobody else. You believe me, right? Yeah. Anyway, so Johnny Sasaki as Sasagi, and then this is the most boring one of them all. Just a generic Genome Soldier as Squealo. But yeah. Anyway. I think what I'm gonna do here is I'll promote my sniper to the spy, and he gets a cool pair of shades. And then I'll upgrade my medic, or promote, to the surgeon. Now I still could promote my bombardier to a, what's it called? A pyrotech. But I'm not gonna do that because number one, I'm absolutely garbage with any of the weapons that this guy has. And number two, well, I guess that's really it. You get extra weapons and extra health, and the extra health is great, but if it costs me 3 PP just to get him like 15 extra health or something, and I get weapons I'm not gonna use, in most situations, I think it's not worth it. So I'm just going to save those 5, and we will head into the next mission, finally, saving Private Rind. There's probably some kind of pun there, but I can't figure it out. I don't know what is it reference to. I mean, obviously it's in reference to Saving Private Ryan, but it's Ryan, right? Right? Anyway, I don't know what the pun is, or the joke. Saving Private Rind. One of your senior ranking Hogs has been captured by the evil enemy scum whilst performing a... hold on, is that Raki? Or Reki, sorry, Reki. It's, I said earlier, like in the beginning of the stream, that the game picture is a little bit blurry on my TV. So I'm having a bit of difficulty reading it, but yeah, anyway. One of your senior ranking Hogs has been captured by the evil enemy scum whilst performing a recce on Drotsville. Use the rest of your lads to launch a heroic rescue attempt. Show them that they have messed with the wrong pigs. Heroic deeds deserve medals. here's an example of a not so subtle hint as to how you can get more medals. Keep your feet off the ground. That is that is in reference to the minefield, the sign for which, with the skull symbol, you can actually see in the picture below. Mission 11, Saving Private Rind. This is one of my favorite maps to use the super shotgun on, so you're gonna get a great demonstration of how it actually works.
Okay, let's rumble.
Alright, so one of my saboteurs is actually locked up in here and he can't get out because the minefield is there. Now you can see the checkerboard pattern, and I'm pretty sure there is no way out of... Oh, there is a way out of here. It's just, you know, a little bit dangerous. And I'm not sure if you've ever played the original Tomb Raider games on the PlayStation, but there's always a delay in your jumps. This game is the very same. Oh god, fuck. Did I actually blow up the door, at least? I didn't, but I got out of there. I mean, you know, that's actually not that bad. I think I'll go with that. It's a spy. Crap.
And a time and a place.
This map really is just tailor-made
Yes,
for
sir.
the what is it? The super shot. Anyway, yeah, the jump in this game is delayed, so sometimes when you think you're pressing it on time, you might already be too late. So you gotta be careful with that. Especially jumping in the minefield. Let's do some steely doos. Ooh, extra pickpockets, that's great. Poison gas. Kettle prod. Let's just take him out of commission completely. I'll take all of his weapons. Hide. Knife. Sniper rifle, please. Yes. Excellent. No, actually, that's not worth it. Let me do this. Ah! I actually dealt damage to my own guy. And not just a teeny bit of it either. 19 points. That's not great. But at the very least, I took the guy out of commission. I just realized what I did. I may have been incredibly stupid. I took all of the guy's weapons, and then I tried to kill him. When he doesn't have weapons. Like, I don't think he literally had a single weapon on him. Maybe the grenade launcher, which is a new weapon available
Don't jeopardize my life, sir.
for the spy, used for long-range hanging shots. But he was pretty much just out of commission completely. He wasn't going to be a threat, so it really made no sense to waste my dynamite on him. But anyway, now I will get to demonstrate the true power of the super shotty. Goodbye.
Look out! Over there!
See the minefield on the map there? The red area? Ah, so close. So close. That's not gonna be good. I think
Contemplate.
because of the pickpocket ability and the super shotgun on two separate guys, this is gonna be pretty easy,
Oh yeah.
all things considered. So there's a weapon box up there. I think I know what it is, but I need to get myself a jetpack before I can get there. And I think the jetpack is found inside the other box that you can see on the map, the brown square, which is somewhere around here. I'm pretty sure I know where it is, and I think it requires me to jump down to access. So who's taken what amount of damage? You need healing? You definitely need healing. More, please. 66 is not ideal, but we'll have to make do. The rifle burst allows me to fire 3 times in a single turn, so that's pretty good. Of course, it's 3 bursts or 3 shots, assuming that the character stays in the line of fire that you're shooting at. That happened this time since he was in the box, which is good, and because I knew he would stay in the box, I was able to use it. Also, I ran out of time, so I didn't really have a chance to think about it all too much, but you know, that's not important right now. I saw a health crate. Yeah, I want this. But then again, he hasn't really taken any damage. He's got 90 health. That's pretty good. Maybe I'll just try and give him a whirl. I think... Yeah, I'll try this. So he's a pyrotechnic. He's a cut above my own guy. I think that's about right. Don't blow up the weapon crate, or the health crate. I want it later. Great. It really isn't going so well, but consider this more of a training session. I have played this before, of course. I've beaten this game on normal mode to unlock hard mode, but it's, you know, it could go better. Certainly. It's been a while since I last played this. It's been a long time since I had such a good fight, but I'm just getting warmed up.
Hey, they ain't nothing but a memory, sir.
5 PP to whoever can tell me what that is in reference to. Ooh, that was incredibly skillful. Hats off to you. I'm trying desperately, ever so desperately, to come up with a pun to say here related to that hats off to you comment, but I just can't think of it, so you might be thinking like, okay, there's the minefield, of course you're gonna wanna shoot him in there. I don't know. You know, I mentioned that exploit, if you remember, or if you can recall. Let's see if it works.
Them schmucks are ancient history.
It didn't. I'm sure you can guess what it is, based on my performance there. But, I don't know. I mean, he almost went into the minefield anyway, so it was, by all accounts, it was pretty good. I almost managed to use the exploit, and I almost managed to knock him into the minefield. But I didn't quite do either. So that's great in my book. Ow. Okay. So yeah, I used up all of my pickpockets. So I think I'll get this weapon box, which is the jetpack. Homing missile. Yeah, that's what I said. The homing missile in this game is like way cooler than... oh wait, never mind. I was thinking of a different weapon. But the homing missile is pretty cool. So where was that guy? I can't see him. Guy, please. Oh, that's him. Is that him? Yeah, it is. He's like approximately there. Oh, almost exactly.
And I think this is going to be very, very special.
Let's hope. Nice. Oof. It's a really big...
It's just a nick, sir.
It's a really big explosion for it to only deal 40 damage, but at least the explosion was pretty. Sorry if I'm a little bit quieter now, but I'm just like trying to balance out the really talkative bits with times where you can actually focus more on the game, especially since I took like 30 minutes of your time just talking and talking and talking without actually playing the game. I think that's the end for him. For sure.
Oh man, I'm just
Winded. Yeah. It doesn't really make sense to continue anymore, but like, where can you get the jetpack? Where can you get the jetpack? I don't remember. Maybe, like, you can get additional weapon and health drops into the game, like halfway through. Not literally halfway through. Well, also literally halfway through. But I mean, like, at any point throughout the match, you can get supplies sent in. And it's like finders keepers, whoever gets to it first gets to keep it. It's not random. There's specific missions where it happens, and it happens after a specific amount of turns has been, or has like elapsed. And the items that you get are also predetermined. So there's no element of random chance involved, but for a first timer, it can seem like there is. But yeah, anyway, there's no point in continuing if one of my pigs already bit the dust. So let's retry. I think this time I can do it a lot better. I'm just thinking, like, should I even try to break out of my solitary confinement cell, or should I
Okay, let's rumble.
stay inside? Like, this is pretty much my only semi-long range weapon, and this is hard to use. You need to judge the distance just like with the mortar, but well, not just like, but in a similar way. I guess I can show you what it does, but then again, no, it's really risky. Well, I'll show you what it does. It might not work as you'd expect. Let me try.
Them schmucks are ancient history.
Not sure what I blew up, but like the point is
Yes,
that
sir.
the shrapnels, quote unquote, break out of the grenade itself in kind of a bullet form. They spread in all the different ways that like all different possible directions. What are they? The cardinal directions, right? All the cardinal directions they spread in, and they fly straight, I think, for a certain period of time until they drop down like bullets would. There's a separate cluster grenade which works similarly to how you might expect a shrapnel grenade to work, but I don't have access to that right now. It's actually a pretty good weapon. So here's one little cool trick you can do. You can pickpocket guys inside boxes. Ooh, now that I got the sniper rifle, I think I'm just going to save the rest of them. I'm not going to bother taking anything else because the sniper rifle is by far his most deadly weapon. I think I'm going to use the kettle prod to push him. No, you know what, I'll just use this. I really had a problem deciding what I want to do. There he goes. Ooh, fall damage. Nice. It's a pretty rare thing to see in this game. We've seen it so far already, especially when I've used the super shotgun, but as opposed to worms where you get fall damage from like almost any kind of drop in this game, it's pretty rare. And you take very little fall damage even when you do. Ooh. Now that he's actually poisoned,
Don't jeopardize my life, sir.
I should make it a point to go and heal him as soon as possible. Or get him out, so he can get health crates. But, okay, so the minefield's pretty far. I don't think even the super shot is gonna get him all the way over there. So maybe I'll do something else. There's this guy who just came out of the box. Oh no, this guy didn't. This is the pyrotech. Let's try if we can actually do the exploit thing here. I'll take a bit of a... come at a bit of an angle, like this. Let's see what happens.
Look out! Over there!
Good shooting. Here comes some new equipment for your chaps to play with.
Nice. So there is the true power of the super shotgun. If you fire a guy out of bounds, he blows up immediately. And he's just out of the game completely. It's the only weapon.
You followed my orders to the letter. As a token of appreciation, I decided to send you more supplies.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly sure what I did to have the general send in more supplies, but you know, I'm glad. Okay, so now, as I'm playing as the medic, or the surgeon now, I gotta go and heal my confined saboteur. Alright, so I can... Oh, okay, so I blew up the door. That's... okay. Here, take this. There's actually a new item box inside the cell. I need to get that next time I play as him. I think I'm still gonna play as the bombardier, and then it'll be his turn, so I can get the box. I highly doubt the enemy's going to go inside and get the box before me. Especially considering that they almost literally never take the boxes in single player mode. There's this fun little quirk to the enemy's programming which kind of mandates how they take boxes. Because they can do it, and they do it if they have the necessary preconditions to do it, but it's very specific what needs to happen for them to take them. And maybe we'll run into that. I don't know.
Oh, you ready for this?
If we don't, if I remember, I'll... Nice. I'll mention it later on.
Yeah, boss?
I guess I can say it right now. Like, why not? Why not? It's not much of a spoiler, I guess. I can't go in there yet. Not as this guy. Yeah, do I actually have to knock that down or something? It's kind of dangerous. I don't want to do that. So, let me do, like, not that much, but like... something like that. So yeah, anyway, the only time the enemies take item boxes is if they have jetpacks. They use the jetpack to fly, like, no matter where they are on the map, even if they're standing right next to it, they don't walk up to it. They use the jetpack to fly on top of it, and then they land with the parachute. 'Cause, you know, once you use the what is it? The jetpack in this game, you actually deploy a parachute afterwards. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, nice. So you don't blow up the tower. You actually fly over there. Let me do just that. Here's a demonstration of how the jetpack works. It's on a predetermined path. You can't adjust the flight trajectory as it's happening. But you can dispose of it. Ooh, you can dispose of it at any point. And then you deploy the parachute. And then you can guide the parachute ever so slightly. So, anyway, that's what the enemy does. No matter where the box is, even if it's right next to them, or even if it's in a location that is easily accessible through walking, they will use the jetpack to fly on top of it, and if they don't have the jetpack, they don't take the box. But now, earlier I mentioned that there, in addition to the Super TNT, there is another really, really powerful, completely OP weapon in the game, and there's two variants of it, and that is the airstrike. I'm not going to spoil what the other variant of it is, because we might be able to see it at a later point. I'm not sure, but like, perhaps, at least in a later stream, if nothing else. Because I intend to stream this later on as well. I really, really like this game, and I really like streaming it as well. Showing off the cool things that this game has. I think I owe it to the game, because it's given me so many great memories, and people don't tend to remember this game very fondly at all, from my experience. Based on the reviews it got when it came out, at least. But yeah, so the airstrike is like the base version of that weapon. it's like the airstrike in the Worms games is pretty good. You can reach most locations on the map with it. But in this game, there's only two aerial weapons. One of them is the airstrike and the other is the other variant. And the airstrike in this game, it is way, way deadlier than in any of the Worms games. I think I'm not just gonna rush it. The airstrike is way too good for me to waste. So I'll just stand on top of the tower, hope that nobody knocks me off it, and I'll use it the next time I get to play as him. Oh, actually, I just realized that now I have the other jetpack as well. I might fly into the minefield to get the medal. Don't do that, please. He's got like at least 100 health, so he should be okay. But he'll take full damage for sure. Ow. Ow. Twice even.
I don't think I should be here.
Is that a... That's not an item box, is it? No. Okay. You okay, my guy? 62. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. So I'm not sure which guy this is, but since I'm kind of confused as to which guys I've pickpocketed and which I haven't, I'll just use my 2 pickpockets on this guy. Cattle prod, yeah, I'll take it. Poison gas, okay. I mean, it's not the best, but... I think about the best I can do right now is just, like, fire at him. What is my health level? What, is it 40? Or no, 90. 90. It's actually 90. So, that's fine. That's fine.
And I think
He'll take
this
20
is
damage
going
from this.
to be very, very special.
Because the box absorbs.
You aiming at me, loser?
Oh. Oh, okay. Well, that was very good. Me likey. Good choice. Good choice.
Ah, yeah?
Ah, yes. It's so convenient. It's so convenient. I just gotta get it. So last time this guy actually used the exploit and killed one of the enemies. Let's see if we can do something cool. This... Oh, I know. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Now, technically, I could place a mine where I'm about to shoot him and hope that he actually takes damage from the mine, but it's very, very finicky. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it off. So I'll just do this. Let's hope there are still plenty of mines in there. Don't worry, you're gonna have a good time. I'm sure. Oof. Not bad. Not bad at all.
What's up,
It
dude?
really seems to me like they're kind of panicking, like they don't know what to do. And I like it. It makes me feel powerful. I gotta be honest, guys. I think this is by far the most relaxed I've ever been in a stream thus far. This feels completely natural to me. Thus far, sorry for using that phrase again, but like so far, let me explain this real quick, then I'll concentrate on the game again. So yeah, so far, every time I've streamed, it's felt a little bit off. Before I started streaming, I figured that since I think out loud while playing games anyway, on my own, that would translate well into a stream, or streaming. But then when I made my initial few streams, I found that I was lacking in terms of things I could say, and if I wanted to concentrate on talking, I couldn't concentrate on the game, and vice versa. So I was really struggling to get a good balance of gameplay and talking. Like, even though the game is like at the forefront here, I personally, at least, I don't ever tune into like game streams or let's plays or anything for the game. I usually tune in for the personality of the guy or girl who's playing. Guy, girl, or other, I should specify. So, streaming this for the first time after having streamed for wait, how long? I don't know exactly how long, but like for a few months with, hold on, I think 5 streams under my belt before this. There's a drastic jump here. The first one, the Resident Evil 1 original 1996 game, casual speedrun that I did, it was an absolute travesty. For archival purposes, I don't want to remove it. I want it to remain viewable till the end of time. Just for, like archival, like I said, archival and historical purposes. And I guess it's, fun to go back at a later point and see where we started off. But it was an absolutely horrid stream. I couldn't blame anybody for not tuning in or tuning in and then leaving immediately, because it was dreadful. I barely even spoke at any point. Like for the remaining, like the last remaining hour of the stream, I basically said nothing. When I was playing back the stream after the actual live event was over, I noticed that when I was like skipping through the timeline, trying to like just kind of skim over the 2.5 hours of content without having to rewatch all of it, because I had just played it. I found that in every single spot that I clicked on, I didn't say anything. And even though by random chance it could happen with this stream as well, of course, I think it's pretty telling of the stream's overall quality and potential enjoyment. So that was terrible. I didn't enjoy it, and I don't think anybody else would either. But it's there if you want to see it. Well, not right now, but I'll get into that like at the tail end of this stream. A little bit more. Then there was the second stream, in which I tested Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube for the very first time. And I enjoyed myself, but I don't think it was a very entertaining stream. It wasn't nearly as bad as the first one, but it wasn't great either. Then I played Clock Tower on the original SNES, I meant to say the original Clock Tower on the SNES, the very first Clock Tower game, and I really just fell in love with the game. I think it's phenomenal. It's still very, very effective to this very day as a horror game, and please understand that I very much intend on playing it to completion still, even though I've played 2 other games after I last played it. I very much intend on coming back to it at a point. Sooner rather than later, but now Remake 3. Actually, now that I mentioned that, I've heard almost everybody say remake, even though it's spelled R-E-make. And I've always thought that you should say remake, because remake isn't like, it's not very specific. It could technically refer to any remake, but when you say remake, it's crystal clear that you're talking about Resident Evil. So from here on out, I'm not going to say remake anymore until I say it, or unless I say by accident, I'm going to refer to all the 3 games as remakes, because that's just clear, that's how you spell it, so it makes sense to me. And the RE part, of course, comes from Resident Evil. So, it just makes sense. So Remake 3 is coming out tomorrow, so of course that's going to get in the way of our Clock Tower playthrough, but after I'm done with that, I'm probably going to continue Clock Tower. And yeah, I know, I started Clock Tower, and then I didn't finish it, and I started Resident Evil, remake, sorry, and I didn't finish it, and now I started Hogs of War. And I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it, but I intend on finishing all of them at some point. I don't like to leave loose ends hanging like that. As for Resident Evil 4, that was just meant to be a test stream. I'm not going to continue that. I don't even have the save file for it because I didn't have a memory card for GameCube at that time. So I couldn't save the game, so there's nothing to continue from. So if I ever play the game again, and I'm sure I will at some point because I really like it, I'm just going to start a new save file and a completely new series on it. So yeah, I really enjoyed myself with Clock Tower, and I think that kind of reflected off of me to the actual stream and the general enjoyment to be gained from it. I think it's like the first Clock Tower stream is by far the most entertaining stream I've done up until this point, I think. I was quite proud of it. It wasn't like magnificent or anything. It wasn't anywhere near the quality of like professional streamers or even just some more big time names. But I was still proud of what I was able to accomplish, however little it may be. And then the second one, it wasn't as action-packed as the first one, but I still really enjoyed myself. Perhaps as a stream, it wasn't as enjoyable to you guys. I wouldn't know because hardly anybody's seen them. Because they're, kind of obscure and so old that why would somebody just suddenly want to watch them? It would take a good bit of good fortune for me to happen to stream the game just as it piques people's interest again after all the years that it's been lying dormant. But yeah, I really enjoyed those, and I'm quite proud of those two streams. But then the our remake stream, it was absolutely terrible. Like the first one was bad enough, but the our remake stream, oh my god, it was ridden with every problem imaginable. There was the hard drive problem where the game just suddenly froze between camera angle shifts, and it would load assets for like 5 to 10 seconds, which was a complete immersion breaker. And then I was doing really terribly, which was, it would have been fine on its own. I think it could have been quite entertaining, but because of all the technical difficulties, it was just terrible. I was proper mad at the game by the end of it. But the absolute worst was that after I had finished that stream that was plagued with technical difficulties and all that stuff, I finally realized, watching the stream after the fact, or the VOD, that it was a slideshow. It was almost completely unwatchable. I wouldn't recommend anybody watch it, and it's really a shame that it's my best performed stream so far, like by a mile. Not saying there's a lot of views. It's like, 22? That's not a lot, but I think it's quite a lot for a budding streamer such as myself, who has been doing this only for like 2 months or something, maybe 3. But yeah, it's a real shame that it's the one that I really thought was a complete and utter failure. But yeah, with this stream, I've been really satisfied with it so far. Like, yeah, I've gone off on tangents a lot, so like half of the runtime of the stream, which is now at 3 hours and 4 minutes, probably half of it has been just me talking, but I hope that doesn't detract from the enjoyment, because like I've really enjoyed myself with the game. I've enjoyed talking about all this kind of stuff that I've brought up, and I think there's merit to both these quieter parts where we can just chat. Of course, now there isn't anybody there for me to talk to, but in theory, I think there's merit to us being able to talk to each other about all kinds of things, just as there is merit to actually playing and focusing on and enjoying the game. But like I said earlier, I don't think it's necessarily the main focus. if you watch this after the fact, or if you still tune in before I end the stream, and you want me to focus more on the game, I will try my best to do that. But I just find it really difficult to focus on a strategic, difficult game such as Hogs of War while talking. So I think this is a much better approach than that, because I tried that in all the earlier streams I've done. I didn't take breaks this long to just talk about random stuff, not necessarily even related to the game. But I think this works better for me. But in case you feel different, please let me know, and I will see what I can do to make it better. But now let's get back to the game. So where were we? Oh, that's right. Okay, so the tree there is a little conspicuous. Now what should I do? I have the rifle burst, which, I mean, that could be pretty good. But then Surgeon, I could heal him, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let me just, I'll do this. I'll stand right next to him, heal myself. Okay. Bobby Joe. Now, do you remember earlier when I said that there is actually a technique to using the poison gas? I hope to demonstrate that very soon, because there truly is a way to take advantage of how that specific weapon works, and it's actually quite helpful. You might not find it to be immediately obvious that you can do it, but you can, and I've won many matches by specifically taking advantage of it. Now, I'll just like take a look with the homing missile. There's one guy there, and there's another one here. I'm just not gonna do anything. It could be potentially dangerous to okay. Could be potentially dangerous to just go through a bunch of turns without really doing much. I see.
I like an easy mark.
Uh-huh. Crap. Well, I'm glad I healed myself at least.
Okay, let's rumble.
Nice. Nice. First thing, I'm gonna fly over into the minefield. Crazy, I know, but I need to get that promotion point. Whoa. Let's hope this doesn't go horribly awry. Okay. I'm so glad there was a path here. Ooh, that's not great. Okay, homing missiles. That's awesome. Please, I can't remain in the minefield. Like, once my turn is over, I need to get somewhere safer. Okay. Oh, fuck! No, please. Oh my god. I could have gone horrifically wrong.
Yes, sir.
But now that I got the promotion point, I think I can just fully focus on taking out the remaining enemy. So it might not be such a big deal that my saboteur is actually stuck in the minefield. Don't know how much health he has, but the sniper rifle deals a good 40.
War is like love.
Only louder. So 40's good. It's not gonna kill him, but you know, he's got only 17 lives remaining. There's still 3 guys. One of them is actually quite close to my friend in the minefield.
Don't jeopardize my life,
Okay,
sir.
so there's a guy with 80 health in a box over here. It's good that I can see their positions when the enemy is playing. Okay, he was somewhere in here, right? Maybe he's not in a box, yeah. I was looking for a box specifically. Now this could be very risky, but I think it'll pay off. Like, the angle's not optimal. I can't fire him out of bounds, but I could fire him into the minefield, which could very well work in my favor.
The tragic waste of young pigs.
Oh, oh, be careful. Oof, that could have gone horribly awry. Ooh, nice. Please do it again. Okay. Well, like that. You know what they say about too much of a good thing. Let's see what he's gonna do. Another quick mention I would like to make is that these guys cannot use the pickpocket ability, so even if he still has them, I don't know if he does. Yeah, he does, because I didn't steal the pickpocket ability specifically from anybody. Now this weapon has no knockback, so there's no worry about me like falling into the minefield. But yeah, anyway, these guys can't use the... Ooh, no.
Oh yeah.
Can't use the pickpocket ability, so there's no worries when it comes to them trying to steal your things. It could be really devastating if they actually manage to steal my precious airstrike or super shotgun. Of course, they can't utilize the super shotgun in a way that I can. The medicine ball could work here, but I think all in all, it is very risky. I don't want to do it. I'll actually do this.
You are fired.
Now the tranquilizer, what it does is it gives you another status ailment in addition to poison. I'm not saying that you get poisoned and another status ailment. I'm saying that there's two different status ailments in this game, and one of them is the... I really don't feel so well. Or good. Which one's the correct term? It's actually raining. As a side note, just noticed. I'm really not feeling so well. Like I'm kind of feeling sick in my stomach. Oh god, I don't want to get the coronavirus. Come on. I'm not scared of it per se, but it could be serious. And even if it isn't, like even if it's not like you have to go to the hospital serious, it's still gonna really suck. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to or how well I'm going to be able to participate in my lessons at school, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stream or really do much of anything. Probably gonna be pretty much bedridden for like the next 2 weeks and watch a bunch of YouTube, maybe Twitch as well. And that, you know, doing just that for like 2 weeks doesn't sound like doesn't sound that great. Again, too much of a good thing, you know. I just kind of feel like I'm getting sick. Could it be? Could it finally be that that dastardly disease caught up to me, and I've got it? At long last. Maybe. Well, I mean, I think no matter what the case may be, since I feel like I might be getting sick, no matter what it is, of course, I'm going to take the necessary precautions to prevent this from spreading to anybody else. And I'm definitely not going to go back to my childhood town to visit my relatives because, you know, if this is corona, then it could be highly dangerous, potentially, for me to risk infecting them, especially like my two grandmas who belong in the what could you call it? In Finnish, the term we use for what I mean to say, literally translated, is risk group, but I don't think that's a phrase you use in English. but I think you understand what I mean. And in case you don't, I mean like they belong to the group of people who are the most likely to get some severe to get like particularly severe cases of the corona infection. Is it wrong of me to call it an infection? Because I'm thinking like you get infections from bacterial diseases and not viruses. I could be wrong in saying that. That's just something that sprung to mind really quick. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. If you care, I don't know. Can you comment on Twitch after the fact? Like, in a VOD? I don't know. Anyway, let's get back into the game. Where was I? I shot the tranquilizer. Oh yeah, I was explaining the status ailment. So, you get poisoned, or you can get, I don't know what would be like a good name for it. There's two weapons that can cause it. There is the freeze gas grenade, and then there is the tranquilizer. They have the same effect. The next time the enemy plays as that specific pig, their turn is automatically skipped. It only lasts for one turn, then the next turn they can play again. It's kind of like the hammer from Worms, where you can like bash one of the enemy worms into the ground like this, and then they kind of like lose one of their turns trying to get back out of there. So it functions very similarly to this. It's just that there's, like as far as I know, there's only one weapon in Worms that does that. It's the hammer. And in this game there's two very different kinds of weapons. There's a rifle type weapon, and then there is a grenade type weapon. But yeah, they have the same effect. Oh, that's right. It's actually my turn again. Because the guy in the minefield, he forfeited his turn. I think I'm definitely gonna be using this. I would very much like to finish this off with the airstrike, so you get to see what it looks like. But I'm not gonna take the risk if it means potentially losing because of it. He still didn't die. Okay. He's got 15 health. I forgot about this guy. Yeah, talk about exploiting the
Oh, come with me.
slippery wall physics. God. Gotta be very careful and methodical. Nice. So this guy's still got 100 HP. Yeah, he's got 125. This guy's got 80, right? Yeah. Sure. This guy, I don't know how much health he's got, but you know, I'm just gonna chuck him in the minefield. Why not? Or actually, you know what? That might not be the best idea. I'm gonna use this. Oof, just made it in the nick of time. Goodbye. Now, of course, you know, because he was gonna die anyway. That wasn't a demonstration.
Excellent work. We'll send them home with the tails between their legs.
Yes. The enemy misses a turn. There we go.
This could be a victory of legendary proportions.
So yeah, that wasn't much of a demonstration of the true power of the airstrike, but I mean, I guess you can get a pretty good idea of how it's like. It fires or drops like 5 rockets straight onto the ground in a linear pattern, and each of the rockets has the capacity to deal 50 damage at most. Now this guy's a liability. We have to get rid of him. But how? How? Like this, I guess.
I'm going to light their fire.
Die. Nice. Please run into the minefield again. that's fine, I guess. There you go. Now, the enemy missed another turn because... nice. The enemy missed another turn because... there's no escape for you. The enemy missed another turn because the guy died from his poisoning, and that's effectively the same as them being tranquilized or frozen. Except for the fact that they actually die, of course. But yeah, okay. I've got all of my 5 guys. They've got pretty high health, all of them. And while one of them is poisoned, he's got the super shotgun. And the guy here is positioned pretty much perfectly for me to be able to shoot him out of bounds. He's got more health than 30, I believe. But if I shoot him out of bounds, there is no way out for him. It's game over. This went extremely well, this match.
They are forcing me to do this. I'm sorry.
Quite the explosive ending, I would say. What a magnificent victory. I'm very glad I could actually demonstrate the power of the Super TNT, the Super Shotgun, and the Airstrike, because those are like the 3 best weapons in the game. And then there's the 4th one, what is it? The special variant of the Airstrike, but maybe we'll see that another time. As I said earlier, I don't want to spoil what it is exactly, if you don't know. And of course we'll be saving the game because that was brilliant. Victory! Nation ecstatic. Tea and medals for leading general. Now whether that's me or the guy who's constantly commenting on my performance, but I don't know. But anyway, good job, team. Now, I don't want to jinx it, but it would kind of suck if this was the one time it actually freezes during my save and it corrupts the data, if not the entire memory card. I've got some pretty sick save files here. I've got Silent Hill, absolutely love that game. I've got, I believe this is the assortment of VR training missions in the original Metal Gear Solid from 1998, and not the standalone VR missions pack. I guess you could call it a game of its own. But yeah, still Metal Gear Solid, an absolute classic. Yeah. And then there's Gran Turismo 2, one of my favorite racing games of all time. Then there's, more classics from the platforming genre. Crash Bandicoot 3, I don't really like Crash Bash, but there it is. Then there's Ape Escape, which is absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't played it, play it, please. Specifically the first one. I think it's the best. There's Crash Team Racing, just, can't forget about Crash Team Racing. FF7, and then some ghost times for Crash Team Racing. So I'd say this memory card is full of some pretty iconic games. I think Hogs of War has to be the standout game in that it is not a timeless classic. Well, Crash Bash isn't either, if you ask me. And in case you're wondering why I had a 110% save there, it's not actually mine. I don't remember whose it is, but it's like whoever I got this memory card from originally, that's whose save file it is. So, when I criticize the game, don't, even, what do I want to say here? I don't first criticize the game and then show that I have a fully completed save file of it, which takes some real dedication. It's not an easy feat. But no, it's something I would never do. I don't enjoy the game that much. So yeah, anyway. Well done, team. Next time, I think I'll be... Like, I could upgrade Balkan to the Pyrotech level, but then again... It's not of much use to me. I don't remember what it gets exactly. It's like maybe a cluster grenade and something, but they're kind of hard to use weapons, so I might just upgrade one to a commando. But that will have to wait, because this shall be the end of our stream. And I did save, right? Because if I didn't, I'm gonna lose that progress now. Let's hope. Let's hope. I think... hold on. Just one sec. I didn't want the game audio bothering us while we wrap up for tonight. So my estimate of quitting at about 6 a.m. didn't quite pan out. It's 5:30, but you know it's not. It's only 30 minutes. It's not that much later. And we actually did finish 2 full missions, and I had a great time. I don't know about you, none of you who were here, but you know, like after the fact, I hope you had a good time watching this. If you watched the entirety of it, thank you so much. It means so much to me. And so tomorrow, Remake 3 comes out, like I said. So if I'm not sick by then, I will be streaming that for sure. If I'm not sick, or if I decide to stay here instead of actually going to see my relatives, which I'm not sure about yet. But I might do that just in case, so I don't infect them with anything. If infect is the right word here, I don't know. I guess you can say that. Like, at least in the Resident Evil games, where they talk about like the T virus infection and everything, it's always infection that they use, I think, at least. Or is that just a fabrication of my mind? I don't know. Anyway, it's not relevant. So hopefully I will be streaming Resident Evil 3 Remake for you tomorrow, or Remake 3. I mean, if I will, I'm sure we'll have a great time getting scared shitless running from my old buddy Nemesis. And yeah, I'm really, really ecstatic for it. Can't wait. Like, if there's one reason I would actually stay behind, like back here at home, and not go see my relatives, it's that. The game's release. I'm that psyched about it. Resident Evil is one of my all-time favorite franchises, so I'm like so hyped for it. And well, I'm not the biggest advocate of of Remake 2. I still thought it was a great game, and I feel like, since I think the original 3 is better than the original 2, I think it's gonna be the same this time, unless they've like cut some corners or something. I heard that they removed the Mercenaries game mode, which automatically deducts some points from the game's overall score in my eyes. But as long as the main game is still like superb, that's all that really matters. For longevity, of course, it's great if it has extra content, but the main story is what they really need to nail. And if they knock it out of the park, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to be better than the 2 remake. Better than the original? I wouldn't go that far. I have way too strong of a nostalgic connection with that game. But I think we're going to have a really good time nonetheless. So I'll try my best to stream it tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, I mean like Friday. Because, you know, we've already gone 6.5 hours past midnight. So we're already like well on our way into Thursday. So when I say tomorrow, that's Friday. Not like when I go to sleep now and I wake up. That's not tomorrow. That's still today. I just wanted to make that distinction so you don't think that somehow I would be streaming like today. because that's not possible. I'm not a significant enough figure on the internet to receive a review code or anything. I bought the game, pre-ordered it myself from what's that website called? Green Man Gaming. Got a pretty good deal. It was like, what, 25% off. I got the deluxe edition with the classic Jill costume and the Carlos costume, and what else was there? I don't remember, but like cool stuff. It's not because of that stuff specifically that I got it, but I want to show Capcom how much I appreciate the direction that they've taken the Resident Evil series in as of late. Because after their stumblings with like 6 and well, I really like Revelations 1, but Revelations 2 especially, I'm really glad that they're now pretty firmly back on track with 7, which was excellent, 2, which I think was almost as good, and then 3, which might be even better than the other 2. We'll see very soon. But yeah, I guess that's enough from me for now. We've been alive for 3.5 hours now. 3 hours and 31 minutes to be exact. So I think that's about enough. Typically my streams have lasted for like 2 to 2.5 hours. So I think this hour-long extension is about enough. I'm not saying this is the longest I'll ever stream. Like, we'll see how it goes with Remake 3. If it's actually really, really good and I'll end up enjoying it immensely, we might play for even longer than 3.5 hours. But again, we'll see. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. It seems like I've had the Twitch window there constantly to be able to see how the stream looks, and from what I've seen, it seems that it has functioned completely as expected. And I think I said at the beginning, or in the beginning of the stream, I actually lowered the quality to 720 and the frame rate to 30 FPS and the bit rate to 4000 from 6000. I apologize for that loss in quality, but I hope that with that we will be able to actually, or I will be able to stream and you will be able to watch the stream in such a way that doesn't make you wanna say and do things you might regret. So yeah, seems like the stream went off without a hitch in that regard, and I really enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for watching. We will definitely pick up from where we left off with Hogs of War later on, but before that, Resident Evil 3 Remake. So stay tuned for that. If I had to guess, I'd say I'm gonna get my first live viewer, at least one, when I play that, because, you know, it's the launch date, brand new game, everybody's excited. So yeah, I guess that's about enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna get a good like 3.5 hours of sleep. That is, or 4.5. That's awesome. But yeah, enough about that. I guess there's nothing more for me to say to you than good morning. We'll see each other again, I'm sure. Let's hope I don't get corona. No. Goodbye.